Oh, hey, bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Y'all, welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all that's going on in pop culture and in hot topics. So that's a show for you. Definitely to stick around because we got a lot of TV for today. We got to talk about the Odyssey box office and how it's the third biggest debut of the year. We also got to talk about that Avengers Doomsday trailer because they did drop one. Surprise! I don't think anybody expected it, but we'll get into some things regarding that. Plus, Kevin Feige recently did an interview because he's doing his rounds promoting not Avengers Doomsday. He's promoting the new Spider-Man movie, and he opened up about the rumors regarding Secret Wars being split into two films, the fact they've been trying to get Adam Driver to show up in a MCU film, and how he feels like the development of this long-standing Blade movie that we still waiting on has been a failure on his part as a creator. So we'll get into that. Plus, we're going to talk about Colman Domingo tackling, well, he's going to write and tackling, of course, beloved animated Disney movie into a live action version. So yeah, he's working on possibly co-writing the script for The Princess and the Frog. Plus, if you have not seen Masters of the Universe, I can tell you where this week on which streaming service you could actually watch it. We also got to talk about the FIFA World Cup and how much of a hot ass mess that show was. We also got to talk about speaking of hot, fat, funky messes. We also got to talk about Trump getting booed on the fact that he doesn't know when to exit stage left and that the world don't revolve around his funky ass. So we got to talk about that. Plus, we also got to talk about the judge has pressed pause on the Paramount-Warner Brothers merger. That's good news so far. So we'll break that down. Plus, we got to talk about Belle Calise, who can't seem to get it right when it comes to the men she spread her legs for, because apparently, of the rumor is she is going and dating Maduka Okoye, who was a world famous soccer star. Well, his ex has come out of the closet and has revealed that he is a deadbeat daddy, basically an absentee father. So I got the receipts. We're gonna break it down and we're gonna talk. We also got to talk about this. Well, at least, well, we got to talk about the Spice Girls too, because one of them got married over the weekend, and all of them was there except one. We'll get into that. Plus, we also got to talk about Valentina. Not only is her smile beautiful, but hopefully her vocals are, because she has replaced Michaela J. Rodriguez in Rocky Horror on Broadway. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you please do me a solid, hit that like button, subscribe, smash the notification bell, hit the hype button, all the things that help this channel get out there to a much bigger audience, please and thank you. Now let me come over here. You tried it. First of all, I'm only 10 minutes late. And if you must know, I had to use the bathroom. So that's why I was late. I didn't start on time. And I was getting all my notes ready for this conversation. We're gonna talk about the Paramount Warner Brothers merger and all that good stuff. So let's get right into the show. So without further ado, let me hit my banner and let's get into topic number one, which I guess we could give a huge congratulations to the Odyssey, who brought in $124 million this opening weekend in the US alone. I'm gonna get to the worldwide box office as well. So all you shrills, you incels, you pieces of shit basement dwellers who were all over social media wanting to hate on this movie because y'all talking about they didn't get an exact interpretation of Homer's Iliad poem. Sit and spin. How about that? So the movie is doing fairly well. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment fully on it. You already know from the last time we talked on the show, because all the screenings that I wanted to see, Dolby, IMAX, 75 millimeter screenings, all of them were sold out. So I couldn't get a ticket. Anyway, hell, I'm sitting all the way in the damn front. I don't care how good of a damn movie it is. And I'm not sitting there for 3 hours sitting like this. So um With all that being said, I'm gonna go on Wednesday. I found a good seat. It's a good time. It's like 11 o'clock, which means the movie ain't starting until 11:30. I'm gonna go to Lincoln. I'm gonna watch it on the big screen. I did want to see it in the IMAX, but all the good seats were still taken. So I said I'll go see it in Dolby. First of all, it'll still look good on the screen and it'll be in surround sound. So I'll go see it in Dolby. It doesn't matter. And if I like the movie, then I'll try to find a way to see it in IMAX again, or see it in IMAX. See the movie again, but this time in IMAX. So the box office debut, Fit for a King. Christopher Nolan's action epic The Odyssey ignited to 124.5 million from 3,919 domestic theaters over the weekend, defying expectations and setting up the R-rated spectacle for a long, long journey in theaters. Now, these ticket sales are notable as Nolan's biggest debut since 2012's The Dark Knight Rises with $160 million, as well as the industry's third largest opening of the year following Toy Story 5 on 159 million and Super Mario Galaxy movie with 131 million. They're also impressive, not just because the Odyssey is a nearly 3 hour sword and sandal adventure. Well, probably three and a half if you add all them damn coming attractions before the freaking movie. They're also impressive, not just because what is it, a genre that's really made these days, but also because it is rated R, which limits who can buy tickets. Well, people have to realize y'all have to really stop underestimating the power of Christopher Nolan. Like, if he could get y'all to sit through a boring ass movie about building an atomic bomb, and it winning people Oscars and also damn near grossing $1 billion at the box office, then he can get anybody to pretty much show up for his movies. This man has been making films for 25 years. He's cultivated a loyal fan base. And I think also with all the controversy surrounding it, with him casting Lupita Nyong'o and Elliot Page and all the other little on all the online riffraff that was going on surrounding, even which surprised me, annoying as nasally voice Ben Shapiro came out and told politics aside, I enjoyed the film. I'm like, some of you shells get on my goddamn root canal nerve. First of all, I don't understand how is it so hard for people to just not incorporate politics and everything. You can just go to a movie, watch it, and enjoy it for what it is. I know it's hard for people to like let that compute and register in your brain, but you can actually go see a movie and enjoy it for what it is. You don't necessarily everything don't have to be woke or these little buzzwords that y'all like throwing around just because y'all want attention on fucking social media. How about you just go see a movie, watch it, and then just give your opinion based on what you saw on the big screen instead of getting all wrapped up in the fact that y'all hate anybody who is different having a damn job. So at the international box office, The Odyssey collected 139.6 million from 73 markets for a stellar worldwide tally of 264.1 million. This marks Nolan's biggest global opening ahead of The Dark Knight Rises, 249 million, not adjusted for inflation. 2009's The Dark Knight at 198 million, not adjusted for inflation, and Oppenheimer 180 million. I'm assuming not adjusted for inflation because they didn't put that in the at the end. Now, adapted from Homer's 3,000-year-old epic poem, The Odyssey stars Matt Damon as Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, and chronicles his seemingly ethereal, perilous voyage home after the Trojan War. Damon leads an all-star ensemble of Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Charlize Theron, Elliot Page, John Bernthal, and John Leguizamo. Now, written and directed by Nolan, The Odyssey is one of the best reviewed films of the year, with an A grade on Cinema Score exit polls and 95% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes. Males accounted for 56% of ticket buyers, while half of the audience members were between the ages of 18 and 34, underscoring that Nolan appeals to all generations of moviegoers. Now, with stellar word of mouth, the frenzy around premium formats, A-list cast have been taking the promotional circuit by storm. The Odyssey is primed for an epic box office run, plus it won't have any competition until I think about 2 weeks when Spider-Man No Way Home Brand New Day, that's what it's called, comes out on July 30th. Okay, this damn thing is annoying. Hold on. Anyway, okay, let's get back to what we were talking about. Yeah, so I guess a lot of people are shocked because of this. So now they've got a good 2 week start before Brand New Day comes out. And even when Brand New Day comes out, which we already know that's going to be the #1 movie, if the Odyssey slips to #2, it'll still do well because those people who can't really get into Brand New Day will probably be like, you know what? Because I've been trying so hard to get a ticket, maybe I'll go and I'll see this movie while everybody else is going to go see Spider-Man, which comes out on July 31st. But it seems like that it's gonna probably make all its money and then some because I don't know if y'all noticed, but Universal spent $250 million to produce this movie. And that is a staggering cost for any tent pole these days, especially one that is an R-rated movie. However, when you're talking about Christopher Nolan, everybody knows he is good on his investments. And even his least interesting movies have done fairly well. Tenet, because I'm still trying to understand what the hell that movie was about. But because what was it, a couple of months ago, I actually watched Tenet when it was on Netflix, and I know what the hell I was like, "What the hell is this movie?" I mean, I've seen it prior to that, but when I was watching, I'm like, "I don't understand this movie. I don't know what's going on. Y'all trying to come with all these weird shits that y'all throwing up in there." But I am intrigued. I'm interested, and that's the one thing about Christopher Nolan. He can be overly ambitious, but he makes it work for some reason. So Christopher Nolan, as you know, was the only filmmaker working today who could take an ancient story like this, attract a cast as sprawling and accomplished as this, and make it a pop culture event. This is according to David A. Gross, who publishes the box office newsletter franchise Re. Nolan has become a unique and singular talent with a loyal and enthusiastic following, which is what I said. The man has had 25 years to cultivate a large and loyal following of people who have liked his stuff ever since Memento when he first came out. That was the first movie well, I think that was the first movie that he put out in theaters. I don't know if that's the first movie he ever did, but Memento was like his first big Hollywood mainstream film or whatever that went into theaters, and Carrie Ann Moss was in it. Guy Pearce was in it. It was an interesting movie. I haven't seen it since I saw it back in like 2000 or 2001. But anyway, so Nolan has long been a commercial draw, having directed outsized box office triumphs like the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Dunkirk, and Interstellar. But the British filmmaker reached a new level of fame after 2023's Oppenheimer, which became a box office juggernaut before securing the Oscar for Best Picture. Now, fueled by the Barbenheimer phenomenon, Oppenheimer launched above expectations to 82 million and earned a remarkable 330 million in North America and 975 million globally by the end of its run. While Oppenheimer opened in second place behind Barbie, another box office behemoth, the Odyssey gets the satisfaction of debuting at #1 across the globe. Now, and I think also what helps is that he truly loves like old school cinema, and then also shooting things specifically with IMAX cameras. You already know, like in the past, he's always partially shot. But what's going to make it really fascinating is that he shot this entire thing with IMAX cameras. So wanting to see this in a fully realized IMAX format will probably be even more fascinating, especially if you're like a cinema maniac, cinephile, whatever you want to call yourself, movie nut. Excuse me. So let's get to the rest of the box office because there's a lot of talk about Nolan's film, blah blah blah, and whatever. So Moana landed in a very distant second place with 19 million in its sophomore frame, a 56% generated 56% decline. My fault. Oh wait, I realized I didn't have none of the pictures up while I was running my mouth about this whole situation. A mess. I had none of my damn pictures up. So let's move on to the next thing, Claudia. Okay, so Moana landed a very distant second place with 19 million in its sophomore frame, a 56% decline from its disappointing 43 million debut. So far, Disney's live action remake has generated 82 million domestically and 178 million globally. Since Moana was so expensive, it carries a $250 million price tag, and theater owners get to keep roughly half of revenues. The film is primed to lose at least 100 million in its theatrical run. Disney's summer has been mixed with the studio fielding outside hits like The Devil Wears Prada, which brought in 688 million, Toy Story 5, along with big budget misfires like Moana and The Mandalorian and Grogu, which brought in 340 million against a $165 million budget. Minions and Monsters tied with Toy Story 5 in third place, with each film bringing in 14.8 million over the weekend. Now, for Minions and Monsters, those ticket sales represent a 34% drop from the prior weekend and boost revenues to 137 million domestically and $323 million globally. Since prior entries in Universal and Illumination's Despicable Me franchise have neared or surpassed the $1 billion mark with ease, the newest Minions may wind up as the lowest grossing of the bunch. They said, however, the installment was produced for 85 million and will turn a profit. So they'll turn a profit, but I just think at this point, it might be time for these Minions to kind of be put to bed. I think the momentum surrounding Minions is kind of like I think it's done. I think people have moved on from the Minions. It was cute or whatever in the beginning, but now it's just like, okay, we grown now. So now, oh, child, now Supergirl, Supergirl can't keep the check. Supergirl can't seem to catch a break because it dropped to number 9 with 1.5 million in its fourth weekend. Now, after a month in theaters, the latest comic book adaptation from Warner Brothers and DC is fizzling with 69.9 million domestically and 120 million globally. Given its hefty 170 million budget, Supergirl is projected to lose more than 120 million in its theatrical run. It's the second flop in 2026 for Warner Brothers, following this spring's The Bride, which flatlined with 23 million worldwide against. I didn't even know that that movie came out this year, but I keep forgetting that. Yeah, it was March when that came out. We're in July. We're in July. I'm like, time is flying. So it's like I didn't even realize that The Bride came out that far back, because it was funny because as soon as The Bride was in the movies and it flopped, it immediately they dumped it right on. I was gonna say Warner Brothers Discovery. They dumped it on HBO Max. I still haven't gotten around to watching it. I don't know. It's just something about that movie just off-putting. I just didn't really care enough to want to put it on and watch it. So I don't care, to be honest. And Masters of the Universe didn't do that well either. But we got a story coming up later on. If you haven't seen it in the theaters, where you can actually watch it at home. Now they have A24 has a comedy out called The Invite, and it collected 3.9 million over the weekend from 2,110 screens. Its widest footprint to date. Now, after about a month in limited release, Olivia Wilde's movie has grossed a promising $15 million. So I don't know what the budget is for that movie. You know, A24 does things relatively cheap. But yeah, that's the box office so far. As I told y'all before, I haven't seen the Odyssey. I'm going to go see it this week. So once I've seen it, and then when I come back and do another show, I will definitely let you know my overall thoughts. So, and I've been avoiding watching other pundits talk about it and the spoilers and everything, because I want to be able to go in and forge my own opinion about the film. But it just seems like everybody that has seen it talks about how great it is. So all that little BS aside, and all the people online with their discourses or whatever, don't listen to them. If y'all want to go see the Odyssey, go ahead and go see the movie and come to your own conclusion after you've seen the film. So shout out to you, Christopher Nolan. Another hit in the vault for you over there at Universal. I know Warner Brothers is probably punching the air right now, because remember, once upon a time, Christopher Nolan was a part of the whole Warner Brothers situation. Then you did him dirty by putting the movie in the day and date online, and that pissed him off. And then he decided to run over there and go collaborate with Universal. And since then, he been making with Universal a shit ton of money. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Have you seen the Odyssey? What are your overall thoughts? Are you planning on going to see the movie? And are you surprised by how much money it made at the box office? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Well, let's see what the people are saying. Tried to grab another Red Bull. I was so exhausted. Excuse me. Not you burping on camera, child. I've become Wendy Williams. Speaking of media icons, child, I saw Howard Stern yesterday. He was at the Bon Jovi concert, and funny enough, I don't think I'm gonna ever wash my arm again, because Bon Jovi did one of these numbers to me. I was like, "Oh, how you doing?" I didn't realize it was him until after the fact. Because what happened was this was before the show started and it was ingress before which basically means before we let people in, right? So I was on the floor. I was numbering the section because I was seat to the wall, which is literally close to Jim Dolan's section, and he was there last night, and I gagged. So I'm walking, and I look over, and I said, "Oh, the boss is here." Nobody told me, but I was working anyway, so you ain't gotta ever worry about me just bullshitting. I actually be working when I go to work. But anyway, so I was walking past and I overheard when the security guards was talking about all the celebrities and stuff that's going to be there. I saw Ed Sheeran because he was in the section too in the suites right across from where I was at, and um Howard Stern and Beth was there, and then um yeah, and then the big boss was there. So there was quite a few. So I'm sure there was more. I didn't see all of them, but for the most part, Howard was having a good old time. He sat down, watched the whole show until like once we got towards the end. And he got up out of his seat and he was into the show and having a good time and enjoying it. But he definitely seemed like he was having a good old time. The one thing I get annoyed is that when people try bothering the celebrities, they want to go and come out of the aisle, come out in the aisle, turn their phone and take pictures. Like, oh look, who's in my? I need you to move right back in where you was at. Leave these celebrities alone. Let them have a moment. And so, child. It was fun. But no, what it was with Bon Jovi, I was numbering the chairs, and apparently him and there was like a guy in a wheelchair, and it was like some of the people for the band and everything that was walking by, and I'm like trying to go in, and then as I was done bending down, and because we got a number of chairs and stuff at the garden, child, my back. Anyway, um, and so then when I was coming out, he walked past, and he just like rubbed my arm, and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like. It took me a second to realize who that was. I was like, "Oh shit, we be having a celebrity encounter." I'm so glad the press is defending Madonna and blaming Justin Bieber. Well, we will get to all of that. Who said I hate my job? Oh, you talking about Justin hates his job. He probably does. Well, look, my thing is this. If Justin Bieber don't want to be a part of the music business no more, maybe you need to follow in the steps of Rihanna. First of all, Rihanna, you need to stop teasing your damn fans and making it seem like you coming back. At this point, girl, you can pay it. We don't want you to come back. Because if you're gonna be out here performing like you did at the Jay-Z situation and somebody she was rusty. I'm like, bitch, your whole career you was rusty. Let's not be obtuse about the thing. She's always been relatively lazy with her performances. Yes, she's good at being in the studio and singing all the songs and having a good ear and being a window shopper for the hottest songs or whatever that other people wrote. But when it comes to her actually getting her ass on the stage and putting in the work, she's lazy. But y'all eat everything she does up because she's fabulous, because she's edgy. I'm like, please. I saw, I actually watched Obsession on Friday. I told you I was going to watch it the day I said I was going to watch it. I watched Obsession and I watched well, so I did a double. I did a double. I watched Obsession and I watched damn, what's the movie Faces of Death. That was actually a good one. I was surprised at how good that movie was. The ending kind of felt a little rushed for me, but for the most part, I had a good old time with that film. Yeah, the Obsession film, I was like, I think this will be a one and done situation for me. I think this will be the first and last time I watch that movie. I feel like a lot of you Gen Zers, y'all are way too goddamn sensitive with y'all feelings, and I'm not saying that feelings are bad. Feelings are valid, as they like to say. Feelings are not facts. That's what RuPaul says. So, it's fucking camera. I'm like sitting here having a conversation with y'all while I'm trying to adjust this shizna. Shizna E. But anyway, yeah, so it was a good enough one and done for me. And I wonder at the end, what did Nikki wish? Did she wish for the same thing that he wished for her? And that's why he relaxed. And then when and then when Bear actually came out of the bathroom because he was trying to unalive himself, first he was going to blow his brains out, then he took the pills. They was going to throw it up. But then by the time he was going to bring it up, that's when the wish took hold. And then he came out. And then they had that moment. And then he died. So I'm guessing that's what it was. She probably wished for the same thing that he wished for. But what I would have did was, if I ever came across one of those things, I'm wishing for the thing that the friend wished for. He wished for $1 billion. and that money came pouring, like raining down, raining on him, like Ariana Grande and Lady Gaga in that video. That'd have been me. I'd have been up in there and been like, I wish for $1 billion and let that shit come down, and that would have been the end. Justin Bieber's an asshole. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows he's a dick. But y'all sit up in here and eat up whatever he does, like he doing something. I'm like, you're corny. And from all the articles I was reading online, pretty much everybody was saying that he was the worst part of the performance. But I'm gonna give my overall thoughts when we are done with all the stuff, when we get to that topic. I'm just happy Argentina. Oh, you ain't the only one. I was saying that yesterday when I was at work. I was so happy them old racist motherfuckers lost. And then they're gonna try to brawl with Spain after the fact, which y'all didn't see, but when you gonna try to start a fight with them, you said, "As I hope Rosalia and the cast members of Elite were happy." And did I hear something or another that Shakira donated tickets or whatever to like Argentina or whatever, like the crew? Yes, she is. That's why I say nothing wrong with that. But if you're gonna get up there and try to tour, at least act like you know what you're doing when you up there. Put some effort in. Cleveland's in the building. It said, "Where's the unrated version?" We'll probably never get it. Who knows what's going on with the unrated version? But you said Daydream too. CD says, since when you went to Mariah, his obsession was overhyped. Gen Z said, you want to know something? I will say this. When I watched the film, I will agree that I was like, what is the hype around this thing? Y'all hyped that movie up for the gods. And I watched it. I'm like, this is like your average movie of, I mean, this is like, this first, here's the thing I don't like about this new generation. Y'all want everything to be too real and too fucking literal because y'all grew up in the era of reality TV, which quiet as it's kept, reality TV ain't really reality TV. So I need a little fantasy with my reality, and that to me, watching that film made me uncomfortable because it's a little too close to home. I'm kind of like, can we have a little fantasy in this damn movie? But I feel like maybe the fantasy was there, the supernatural aspect. That ain't the point. The fact of the matter is, y'all be acting like you can't leave a room without your significant other being up your ass, and that's why I said in a online, I was like, after this situation, I'm staying single. I like my independence. I don't need to my. I mean, I gotta go. I gotta ask you permission to go to the fucking bathroom. Like, get off my dick. So no, I would rather just be single. And if I need, look, the one good thing about living in New York, I could always find somebody to hunch. So I don't need to be in a relationship. My relationships come from my friendships and being the friendships where people don't have ulterior motives, meaning that because there was something that this guy that I follow, I've never got to meet him, but I know people who know him. Joshua Cruz, fat ass though. Hispanic, of course. But anyway, let me stop lusting. He did a video on his Instagram where he was talking about that he wanted to go clothes shopping because he said like his wardrobe was a mess or whatever, and his friend actually wanted him to go to his friend wanted to go with him to go shopping, and he started tearing up because he was like, it was great to have that friend who was there to be your emotional rock and to help you out in situations and not want anything in return. Because the one thing I've always said that I want, and I think I've always searched for this, and I've never really like spoken out loud about this. And luckily, I have that in one of my friends, one of my industry friends, who's also a homosexual that works with a lot of the queens from Drag Race and all the stuff. We have this thing where we're just like ace boom coons. We are thick as thieves. We are like we speak each other's language. We act silly. We do all this other stuff. And he don't want nothing from me, and I don't want nothing from him. So I do have. I'm lucky enough that I have that type of friendship. But there have been many a situations where I've been friends with other homosexuals. See, and I realized from when I was, and the reason why I'm glad I use the homosexual term, because when you say the GAY, apparently they say that people are getting, well, there was some YouTubers that said they're getting demonetized for saying the G word. There's always a creative way I can get around some shit. But anyway, so um he was basically saying that it was great to have that type of friendship with somebody who doesn't want to sleep with them or have a different type of ulterior motives. Because I think in a lot of times in life, I've always had that where I've put people in friend zones, and I don't see people outside of that, and they've tried to make moves on me sexually, and it kind of just made me feel away, and then I pull away. So, um, we need more of that. We need actual homosexuals that want to be genuine friends with people without trying to fuck them. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Oh, you said I'm gonna wish for Benny to be arrested and Hassan probably gonna be president of the United States. Benny, who that closet homosexual? Benny Johnson? Not you saying Scream 7 was more realistic than Obsession. When I saw that image of Bear, heard it was what's HJ? And child, that's I funny enough, I knew that scene was coming in the steering wheel scene, and I totally just like got into the moment. And I still jumped when it happened. Not the 8 movie tearing up the house. What was the movie called? Oh, Primate. Saw that in the movies. I had a good time with Primate. I actually liked that movie. His fault, the cat. Yeah, because it got into his pills. But you want to know something? Didn't she cook the cat and feed it to him? He said he shouldn't date anybody. The one that actually liked him was right. Yeah, the child. The one that liked him was the one that got her face bashed in with that goddamn steering wheel. And I was like, oh, so she's the one that actually, it took me that moment she was the one that likes him. But that's the problem with relationships in general. It's always the one who genuinely likes you for you. You don't see it for them because you want that idealistic girl, that hot chick that you want, the fantasy that you built up. And then come to find out she was never into you, but she was screwing your friend. But he didn't want to tell you that. Well, your relationship's so damn complicated. He said he had no attraction to her, but she spills the feelings only for a brick to be used. And yeah, he didn't have feelings for her. Nikki is right. It's your fault. The girl that actually was in love with you is dead. But here's the thing. To him, to Bear, Nikki was hot. You may not find her hot, but that's what Bear was into. You got to realize is that look, one person, as I always say, one person's trash is someone else's treasure. People like who they like, and for the most part, I try not to judge because I'm not the one that got a fucking. So, as I always say, if you like it, I love it. Oh my God, this thing is so annoying. I don't know why my wired. It's just like annoying me. Speaking of which, I know this is not on the docket, but did y'all watch Kim Petras' interview with the Swiftologist? I did watch it earlier today. It was actually pretty good. Now, I ain't sit through that one with Miss Lizzo because all that lesbian does is run her goddamn mouth and whine and bitch and moan about why her career is in shambles. I'm like, I could have just summed that up in 10 seconds. Bitch, it's your fault that your career is where it is. But the interview with Kim Petras, the one thing I like about people like Kim Petras, ask them a question, let them talk. I don't really have to come in and say much of anything. But it was a good interview. So shout out to you, Mr. Swiftologist. Yeah, I can be positive at times too. you, it's at you may find her hot is a gag. Well, yeah, I said you may not find her hot, but that's what Bear was into. He thought she was cute or whatever. Anyway, speaking of cute or whatever, let's talk about the Avengers. So the Avengers Doomsday, I don't think anybody saw this coming, or maybe I would just wasn't paying attention, but I didn't think they were going to be dropping the trailer this week. Now I did have a sense that we might get an Avengers Doomsday trailer this week because Comic-Con is coming up, but I didn't know that it was going to come out today. And so I woke up this morning and I'm sitting there getting my notes ready and stuff and looking for topics I might be interested to talk about. And then I'm looking, it said Avengers Doomsday trailer. And I'm sitting there like, is that real? Because a lot of times y'all be trying to get slick on social media and y'all want to post AI imagery or videos or made up stuff. And I'm not trying to give y'all any kind of viewership. But then when it said Marvel Studios somewhere at the bottom, because I always try to check for the what you call it, and I was like, oh, this is the trailer. So I had to take a moment. I had to brace myself. Yes, it was a whole thing. And I watched the trailer, and let me tell you, I told you I was a little skeptical. I was waiting. I was like, I'm gonna wait and see if the trailer like it's gonna be cool or whatever. I cannot wait to see this movie. Now, I'm also gonna go see the what is it? Avengers Endgame. They're re-releasing it. I think with extra footage, probably to kind of make it tie into what we're gonna expect from Doomsday. That's supposed to be coming out, I believe, in September. I'm gonna go see that as well because it's been a minute since I've actually watched the old Avengers stuff. So that means if that happens, I'm probably gonna have to watch Infinity War before I watch Endgame. So I'm gonna watch Infinity War at home, and then I'm gonna go to the theater, buy a ticket, watch Endgame, and then I'll just be looking forward to December when the movie comes out. So yeah, the trailer debuted today. I would show it to y'all, but I'm not trying to get my channel taken because you know how strict Marvel is when it comes to posting anything Disney related. So if y'all have not seen it, y'all just have to go on social media and look at it. But I believe they said that they showed this at CinemaCon in April, but I need to know from people who actually was at CinemaCon if this is the same thing that they showed people or is this something different. So Doomsday, they say, is a culmination of the MCU's universe crossing storytelling over the past 7 years and three phases since Avengers Endgame release, it became the second highest grossing movie of all time. The team up film brings together almost every major character from across the MCU to face its latest villain, Doctor Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr. in his Marvel return. And I have to say, the Robert Downey Jr. in the Doctor Doom costume actually looks pretty cool. I love seeing Shang-Chi and Gambit having a fight sequence inside of the Xavier School for Gifted Children, whatever the fuck it's called, in the X-Men school. I did like seeing that really cool fight scene was that you see Yelena gets into a fight scene with Mystique. Shout out to Rebecca Romaine. I'm so glad you brought her back. In my opinion, she is my favorite X-Men character. Mystique. Well, I love Mystique regardless, but I feel like Rebecca Romaine embodying that character, to me, she's always been like my favorite. Jennifer Lawrence, meh. I don't know who they're gonna cast in the reboot from Jake Schreier, but I like seeing that sequence, and then she basically turns into Yelena, and they start fighting each other. Then I like seeing we saw Black Panther's sister back in the Black Panther costume, but I don't think she'll be playing Black Panther beyond this iteration. I do think when we get to another Black Panther movie, they will bring in T'Challa's son. I don't think they're going to do a whole recast. I think the smart thing would be for them to do another Black Panther, T'Challa's son, in a different multiverse. We'll see how that all works out. I like seeing, of course, Cyclops. Finally, James Marsden, I do believe, will finally get his just due because he's been done so dirty in the previous films. Maybe because who was the director? Brian Singer, probably because um he was too old. He didn't want to blow him. So that's probably why you pretty much sidelined that character and wanted to bring these younger people up in there because you was probably diddling with them allegedly behind the scenes. So finally we get to see Scott Summers get his just due. James Marsden is going to eat up the screen. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with how they're going to utilize this character. And I do believe that the Russo brothers will do this character justice because he is one of the most powerful mutants and I hated how he's been underutilized in the films. I would have loved to have seen Storm up there too because that's another character that I felt like has been underused in the MCU or in that Sony X-Men universe. So going forward, I hope whoever takes on this, well, Jake Schreier is going to be taking it on, that will actually get some justice due to this character, to Storm. First of all, when is Storm getting her own solo film? Because that's a chick that deserves her own solo film. Anyway, so that's off the top of my head. Oh, it was good. It was great to see Tenoch Huerta, who Namor, who's playing him, seeing him back. And so, yeah, they said the trailer shows the Marvel heroes assembling as, oh, and also, I love seeing Thor back as serious Thor. And he's got the haircut. He doesn't have long hair. And he's taking on like the leadership role. Which I think is pretty awesome because normally everybody be like Captain America is the one. Well, actually, it's Steve Rogers because Captain America now is Anthony Mackie, who you see in the trailer. And also, can we give a shout out to Danny Ramirez's butt? Because there is a shot in that film. I'm like, damn, that boy is caked up. Maybe that's why Jessica Alba is with him. She like a little, a little something up in the situation. That boy was nice around in one of the shots that I saw. Anyway, let me stop lusting after that boy's behind. Anyway, so yeah, seeing him take on that leadership role because Thor's never kind of been more of the leader type. He's always kind of fought against it. Seeing him do that in this film, I think is pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with him. And then he encounters at the end, as the Avengers Doomsday thing comes up, he comes across Steve Rogers. So seeing like which version of Steve Rogers this is, I think is going to be really interesting. I just love this teaser, and I'm really looking forward to like when this movie comes out. Who will survive? Who won't survive? But then again, already know how the multiverse is. You can kill people off in one universe, but then they'll come back in another way. And it's unfortunate that because none of the other characters have stuck and resonated with a lot of the fandom post Endgame, that yeah, you're bringing these characters in from all these different places, but it is time that y'all figure out a way to utilize and start to build on what is the next phase and who are going to be the next big superheroes and getting fans accustomed to these characters. So it says the trailer shows the Marvel heroes assembling as Doctor Doom prepares to wreak multiverse crossing war on the heroes. Now, Thor faces off against Doom and also reunites with Chris Evans' Captain America. Well, as I stated before, Steve Rogers, they didn't really say he was Captain America in this one. Making a long-awaited return to the MCU after Avengers Endgame. Now, several of Fox's X-Men characters are officially will also officially cross over into the Avengers multiverse, including Professor Xavier, Magneto, Mystique, Cyclops, and Channing Tatum's Gambit from Deadpool and Wolverine. After hitting the big screen last year, the Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts are also back to help the Avengers save the multiverse. And don't forget that, we got, did they mention Black Panther up in here? Because I don't think they did, but you see Black Panther and the Dora Milaje and M'Baku. You see all of them up in there too, and Namor. And Namor had a thing for Sue Storm, so I wonder if they're even gonna incorporate that into the story. Doomsday, as you know or may not know, hits theaters on December 18th, and now following by Avengers Secret Wars a year later, the Russo brothers, after directing Infinity War, Endgame, and two Captain America movies, are back to helm both upcoming Avengers films. After Iron Man, and so now we have a synopsis saying that after Iron Man sacrificed himself to defeat Thanos and save the world in Endgame, Downey Jr. is back, but not as his original iconic Marvel role. The details for his turn as Doctor Doom haven't been fully explained, but it's likely that Doom is a variant of Iron Man from another universe. He briefly appeared, though his face was hidden in the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four First Steps. That was probably a stand-in because I don't think they had Robert Downey Jr. coming for that. Because why would you have somebody in full costume and not say a word? You could just have anybody sit there with the costume on. Shit, you could have had one of the Russo brothers dressed up as the character. Now, the list of which Marvel stars are returning for Doomsday is long, and they were all showcased in a slow burn stunt. Oh yeah, I hated that. The chair watch. But you had Chris Hemsworth, Anthony Mackie, Danny Ramirez, Sebastian Stan, Paul Rudd. Oh yeah, it was great to see Sebastian Stan in there as well, and Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. Hopefully they kill him off because I've never particularly liked Ant-Man in any of the movies that they put him. And I like Paul Rudd, but I just don't. I just didn't like. I just feel like Ant-Man just wasn't a well-rounded character. He just, especially that last movie. Last movie was ass. The one that they did. What was it? Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Horrible movie. Tom Hiddleston, Letitia Wright, Winston Duke, Simu Liu, Tenoch Huerta are among the returning MCU characters for Doomsday, Fantastic Four, and Thunderbolts. Okay, we don't even need to go through all that because we already mentioned all those names. So I'm looking forward to this movie. It looks interesting. It's a teaser. I know there's people still, but we didn't even get it now. We haven't even done with the movie. It's a teaser. Relax. I'm sure that this week when Comic-Con happens, the Disney panel or MCU panel, whatever the hell they're gonna call it in Hall H, they'll spill some tea in regards of what we can expect from the story. And what I'm also hoping is that uh I really think that Comic Con needs to start live streaming their panels because not everybody can get in the Hall H. I don't understand that other people broadcast stuff live on on YouTube or whatever the case is. Comic Con people need to start doing that, but I guess they want to make it so exclusive that the only way you find out information is from the trades or whatever. But that doesn't really work, in my opinion. I feel like y'all need to really start live streaming some of this stuff because how else are we going to be able to hear the nuances of the conversations and really get in the bells and whistles. Because a lot of us who are movie nerds, we want to know the whole process of how you came up with this idea, what made you decide of all people in the world, you cast someone who is well beloved as Iron Man to be a variant of like to be Doctor Doom. Like we want to know all these things. I don't want to read it from Variety or the Hollywood Reporter, one of those trades, or it's got to get asked in an interview by, and there's no shade to them, but Josh Horowitz from the Happy Sad Confused podcast or Corey Jandro or any one of those guys. I don't feel like we need that in that situation. I want to be able to see the panels. You have your people up there. If you know you're going to get a Corey Jandro or you're going to get somebody like a like I said before, um, Josh Horowitz or whoever to get up there and be the moderator, then broadcast that shit on our screens because we want to see it. But anyway, so that's that on that. We got a trailer or a teaser. I'm sure the trailer will come down the line because we got plenty of time. We got like 5 months before the movie comes out, and we'll probably get more information the when you know when Comic Con and all the other stuff happens. Who knows? They might be doing what's the other festival that I forgot that D what is it D15 D something that Disney does. They have their own festival, whatever the case is. So anyway, I want to hear from y'all. Have you seen the trailer? What are your overall thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. I didn't want to do that. Hold on. See, this weather has got me sick again because you know I've been going from extreme heat to extreme cold. So my damn nose is running. I gotta be careful in regards to that. But oh, hold on. Let's get to the rest of the topics. Sailor Mermaid's in the building. I love the proto pop interview with Kim Petras. My biggest takeaway is that she had to hit a certain quota of producers involved in Feed the Beast, which I found insane. Yeah, well, we already know Republic Records, they got a bunch of goddamn idiots over there. And this is why they always tell you, look, if y'all want to make music so bad, it's so relatively easy to make music. You don't need a label. Get out there, meet people, network, look for producers online. If you know anybody that can help you write a song, collaborate with them on that. Also, if there's any kind of contracts that come up, get you an entertainment lawyer. Do not use Republic Records entertainment lawyer because they work for the record label. They do not work for you. Even what they say, get your own entertainment lawyer. If they got a problem with that, then I don't need to sign with you. And now you see like a lot of artists, queer artists specifically, when you see Adam Lambert, you see now Kim Petras, so many others. We got Slater, when I'm glad they talked about her too, all going independent. And now that they've gone independent and they put their music out there, people are loving what they're doing. And shout out to two people. Shout out to Robin, who did a cover of Always by Erasure. Oh my God, that was phenomenal. Her performance of that song. And shout out to Adam Lambert, who performed at the Brooklyn Paramount over the weekend. And he did a cover of Closer by Nine Inch Nails. So who knows? Maybe he'll add some more covers into, you know, if he when he plans on touring. But yeah, Republic Records, child, some of y'all are a mess. Hopefully this Red Bull will wake my ass up. I watched the trailer because it was a topic, and I happened to come to the conclusion that I honestly just don't care about Marvel anymore. Maybe I outgrew it. Maybe it's my taste of films evolved. Hmm. I said we don't want to see no more solo films. Storm literally can have a part one and part two movie. J.K. Rowling is coming from fuck that bitch. We don't care about her. He said, not them blocking my comment for saying you like asses like a black dude. Like, yeah, you gotta watch what you say on YouTube. You know they don't like that inappropriate stuff. He said only people excited is 35 and older. I think Dune has Gen Z on lock. Do you think maybe because it's Timothy Chalamet? And you said it's 5K per ticket, and the studio basically wants to gatekeep it for the ticket holders. What's 5K per ticket? And then they got something that they're trying to come up with called what was it called? Uh, let me see. Um, Avengers Doomsday, they got this different screening thing that they trying to come up with. I'm like, y'all just making stuff up because y'all couldn't get IMAX and Dolby and all that other stuff, or IMAX. I'm sure they probably did get Dolby, but because y'all couldn't get IMAX, so y'all coming up with stuff. You said, I think Kevin Feige voicing his disappointment about Blade not coming to fruition. Oh yeah, that is the next topic. Mhm. Speaking of which, let's get into that topic since you brought it up, Cleveland. You want to talk about Cleveland? Let's talk about Cleveland. Okay, let me stop. So let's get into our next topic. Since we were already talking about Avengers Doomsday and the trailer and everything, let's get into Kevin Feige. So Kevin Feige has been out and about at this moment, and I believe he is on the docket promote. See, he's doing something that James Gunn should be doing. Sitting aside, figuring out how you want to steer your situation in the right direction. And when it comes time for you to get out there and promote what you're doing, then you promote. You're not trying to direct everything, you're not trying to control everything. So Kevin Feige knows what he's doing. So, well, apparently not when it comes to Blade, but he knows what he's doing. So, on all the other fronts. So, speaking of Blade, he is doing the rounds right now to promote Spider-Man Brand New Day that comes out in, I believe, next week. Not this week, next week, because it is Monday. So, um, he also talked about the MCU's future. So, Josh Horowitz, speaking of which, we mentioned him earlier, asked the executive about Adam Driver potentially joining the MCU amid rumors. The Star Wars actor is playing Mr. Sinister, and they also said that he could be playing Magneto in the upcoming X-Men reboot. While those claims weren't put directly to Feige, Driver is someone he says has been on Marvel's radar for some time. He said, many, many, many conversations. It's no secret that we like to, but it's a tradition to Zoom with him. And then he passes. Feige said on the actor you may recall was reported to have turned down playing the Fantastic Four First Steps Reed Richards. That's a long-lived tradition. It couldn't be any more cordial. He's usually upfront about how he's feeling. Later, he was asked about Ryan Gosling and Cynthia Erivo publicly stating that they would like to play Ghost Rider and Storm respectfully. Asked by Horowitz why they haven't been cast already, Feige replied, "You never know what the future may bring. Both are good actors and great characters." Would y'all like to see Ryan Gosling as Ghost? Well, honestly, I think I could see Ghost Rider being played by Ryan Gosling. He's age appropriate. He's like what, 43, 44? I think he is kind of age appropriate. And Ryan Gosling still looks young. So he could play the character and get away with it. And I think people won't be that upset if he was to play that character. And I think at this point, Ryan Gosling has proven himself to be a phenomenal actor. I think he needs to start getting some big blockbusters under his belt because all the stuff he's been doing in the past, while he's been good in it, hasn't been doing well at the box office. Now, as far as Cynthia Erivo goes, I don't know. I mean, I've heard her name being floated around for Storm for years. Y'all think she might be too old to play Storm? I don't know. I'm sure they probably thinking about going younger, but I feel like at this point, child, quiet as it's kept, this new generation, they ain't know none of you new generation actors standing out to me. Excuse me. So if y'all want to actually pick somebody like Cynthia Erivo up in this situation, I wouldn't be that upset. So the long delayed Blade reboot, they got into talking about that. And the movie was first, as y'all know, announced by at San Diego Comic-Con back in 2019. So it's almost 10 years ago. Since then, it's been through multiple creative teams, and for whatever reason, Marvel Studios has been unable to figure out the movie. Maybe somebody's I wonder if when he gives his excuse, which I'm side eyeing, um, I do wonder. Somebody need to ask Bo DeMayo because remember, Bo DeMayo did work on a draft of the script to develop this film, and it never came to fruition. So I may need to go over to his social media on Twitter, whatever, and find out if he said anything in response to whatever it was that Kevin Feige said. So he says, "I'm feeling very excited that we got Wesley back for a time with Deadpool and Wolverine, and like." A gigantic loser and failure that we didn't get off the ground with Mahershala. While his comments were mostly made in jest, it's hard to imagine he doesn't feel some embarrassment at the Marvel Studios has squandered an R-rated horror franchise with an enthusiastic Oscar winner attached. Perhaps an update is heading our way at Comic-Con this Sunday. Now, Feige also confirmed that Avengers Secret Wars is not being split in two and says Marvel has not necessarily cast any of the X-Men reboots leads yet. As for whether the MCU reboot is on the horizon, he said no, but I look at the comics as a way, as I always do in terms of our storytelling and both Secret Wars, but particularly the Hickman Secret Wars, there's a nice roadmap to where we can go. Well, and the funny thing is, I love the fact that he actually looks at the comics as a way of like, okay, so I see where we can go with the stories or whatever. We'll still put our own spin on it. We're not going to follow the comics literally word for word, which I think a lot of people get upset about. But a lot of times when you look at stuff in the comics, you can't bring a lot of that stuff to life on the big screen. It just doesn't work like that. So people need to understand how films work. Now, in regards to the whole situation about Secret Wars, I don't think it needs to be split into two parts. I just think like make one long ass movie, just like y'all making one long one with Doomsday. That's gonna be a long movie. It's gonna be damn near 3 hours. And we can sit in the theater and watch it for that long. I mean, I don't mind. Look, if y'all can sit and watch I mean not Oppenheimer. If y'all can sit and watch the Odyssey for as long as y'all watch it, you can watch a long ass superhero film. I mean, yeah, it'll have a lot of action and this, that, and the other in it, but with all the screens that it's gonna be on, it'll be fine. So but as far as like the whole Mahershala Ali Blade thing, I just don't understand how y'all couldn't crack the code in regards to Blade. There's so much source material. There's people, even Dave Goyer, who wrote 3 Blade movies. Yes, the third one was what it was, but for the most part, we love the original Blade. We love Blade too. He even volunteered to come in and crack the code. Y'all didn't hit him up and ask him. So it was like, I don't know what y'all was trying to do. Were y'all trying to like water it down and make it a PG-13 situation? You can't make Blade PG-13. Once that cat's out the bag and you've made it an R-rated film, I think that's the only way that that's going to work. Like it has to be action-packed. You can slay vampires, but I think the problem with them is they're trying to figure out how to make vampires work in the world of the MCU in which it's already kind of what it is. And maybe that's a problem with the MCU. Everything they've made everything so interconnected that when it comes down to trying to just make something separate, an Elseworlds type of situation, they don't know how to articulate that for the big screen. So it's unfortunate. I think that what needs to happen is that they need to figure out how to offshoot Blade somewhere else so that way we can get a reboot because I definitely feel like Blade is a character that should not be squandered. It should not be thrown to the wayside. We definitely want to see a really cool action horror film where we get to see a half human, half vampire um kill vampires on a screen. But it actually has a really good story where we actually care about him and the characters that he's encountering. Excuse me. Now, I think that's pretty much it in regards to this. But they also said that there have been rumors about Fantastic Four remaining on Earth 828 and the multiverse living on in some form. But it's hard to imagine the studio squandering the chance to have all these characters in the same place because there was about after the 2015 storyline, the Marvel Universe remained largely the same, albeit with a few key changes. Miles Morales, for example, has moved to Earth 616, so Feige is likely referring to the X-Men and Fantastic Four finally joining the Avengers on the new sacred timeline in the post-Avengers Secret War MCU. So we'll see how this all turns out when it comes around to it. Avengers Doomsday comes out December 7th. Avengers Secret Wars comes out December 17th, 2027. Avengers Doomsday comes out December 18th of this year. And this is 2026. So I don't know if they started shooting yet, but y'all better get to shooting. Hopefully y'all got y'all script up and ready. So we'll find out what's going on with that. But it just doesn't make sense to me how y'all just let something something like a Blade film go by the wayside. It's like y'all don't really know how to deal with the colors. Because look at y'all. Shang-Chi, I had a good time with that film, but y'all let that go to waste. But at least the cool thing about it is we'll get to see Shang-Chi in uh the Avengers Doomsday as we saw in the trailer. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Kevin Feige said that we just blew it when it came to Blade, and he feels like I screwed up by not being able to crack the code. But my thing is this: is like you've been going around developing so much stuff. I don't understand how. you failed at trying to get this Blade movie off the ground. And at this point, do I think that we may get a Blade movie? I do down the road, but I don't think that we'll get one with Mahershala at this point. Even though Black don't crack, he is a little too old. Like, he's like in his mid-50s at this point. Like, how long y'all gonna have this man waiting by the wayside to get this movie off the ground? You might as well go with a much younger Blade. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I just found out Arca announced her new album, Gag, out on the 31st of this month, along with Ariana's Pedal. Well, Arca's been hard at work. I mean, producing for a lot of artists and stuff, so it's good that she got new music coming out. So I'll definitely be looking forward to that because I do love we love the Kick series. I don't know how many of the Kick series did Arca make. So it'd be good to hear what she got cooking up in the studio. And it would be really cool also if she did a trade off with Madonna. It was like, I'll do some stuff on your record if you do stuff on mine. But anyway, so let's get back into some more hot topics. And let's talk about Colman Domingo, who is jumping aboard the Disney train. So, Colman Domingo apparently is interested in co writing an original live action film spotlighting Princess Tiana from Disney's The Princess and the Frog. So, they're deciding to make a live action version. No shade, but here's a question on this. Do y'all care that do we even need a live action version of The Princess and the Frog? Now, I'm all for diversifying the portfolio. Moana didn't do well at the box office. We already have a live action version of Tangled coming out. I don't even know how well that's going to do. I mean, I did see pictures of Milo Manheim in his regalia in the Tangled live action version. So I don't necessarily know. I mean, do we need this at this time? But then again, I don't want to be too kind of like dismissive of the situation because, to be honest, we don't have any representation of a print. Like we have Princess the Frog, the animated version. Who was the voice? Anika Noni Rose, right? So we have the animated version, and that's cool or whatever. But I do feel like young Black people need to see themselves represented on the screen. So, hot off of notching 2 Emmy noms this year, we hear that Colman Domingo, and this is a deadline basically saying this, is looking to co-write an original live-action feature about Princess Tiana, inspired by Disney's animated 2009 feature, The Princess and the Frog. They said that according to sources, the two-time Oscar nominee will co-pen the feature with 2020 Tony nominated slave play director Robert O'Hara. It's still early days on the project, particularly as far as deals go. Now, Princess and the Frog was the last hand drawn animated feature from Disney, released in 2009 and directed by John Musker and Ron Clements. Set in New Orleans during the 1920s and based on Edie Baker's The Frog Princess, the pic follows a waitress, Tiana, played by Anika Noni Rose, I was correct, who dreams of opening her own restaurant. She's set on turning a frog prince, Naveen, back into a human after he's cursed by an evil voodoo witch doctor, Facilier. However, Tiana becomes a frog as well, and the couple must find a way to become human again. Now, two-time Oscar winner Randy Newman wrote the score and songs, one of the most toe-tapping tunes from the pick being Tiana's Almost There. We hear that Domingo and O'Hara's take is being billed as a spin-off of the animated feature rather than a full-on adaptation. Okay, so that's got me interested. If y'all going to spin it off and come up with new characters and take the blueprint of it and come up with something new, I think that is interesting. So yeah, they said they're going to do it similar to Disney's live action Beauty and the Beast project that's in the works. Gaston. So Gaston is getting its own situation. But the question remains, because Gaston, wasn't he played by Luke Evans in the it was the animated version or was it the live version? I can't remember. But Luke Evans played Gaston at one point. So is he coming back and playing the character? I mean, he still look good, and that body is we've seen the body, what he looked like with in Rocky Horror. We've seen that body and that bulge. So we definitely know Luke Evans has what it takes to play that part. Now, Princess and the Frog grossed 267 million at the worldwide box office when it was released and was nominated for 3 Oscars for Best Animated Feature and 2 for Newman's songs "Almost There" and "Down in Nolans." Other live action adaptations of Disney animated picks in the works are Tangled, which we just talked about, currently shooting under the direction of Michael Gracie, with Catherine Hahn, Diego Luna, Milo Manheim, and Tegan Croft attached to star. There's also Child, really? They're doing a movie called Step Sisters, a Cinderella spinoff directed by Akiva Schaffer, Lilo and Stitch 2 from filmmaker Chris Sanders, and Impossible Creatures based on the fantasy series by Catherine Rundell. Now, Disney's live action takes of classic animated films are still a business. However, if one misfires, the media likes to write the obituary on the subgenre, as it did with the recent Dwayne Johnson live action version of Moana, which came in well under expectations with a 43 million US Canada opening. Still, it is having a great hold in weekend two with close to 20 million. Last year's Disney live action version of Lilo and Stitch was a mega hit, grossing well because Lilo and Stitch was good. The difference between that and this is what pisses me off, because like they did say in here that if one movie flops, then they'll like to say, "Oh, the whole genre is a flop. Nobody likes this genre, so we're not going to go along with it." Because Hollywood thrives on fear, and what I keep saying is that it's not the genre that people are irritated by and the fact that it flopped. It's just the movie wasn't good. And from what the complaints about this Moana movie, yeah, the Polynesian culture is all over it, but aesthetically, it looks cheap. It looks like you literally shot everything in front of a green screen, even though they said that they shot this movie on location in Hawaii. But everything looks overly colored. Everything looks like you shot it in front of a green screen. It looks cheap, even though they paid a lot of money to produce the film. So that's what people are upset about. It has nothing to do with it's not about whether or not people don't care about seeing the genre. If you make a shitty movie, people aren't going to support it. And you would think that this would be something that Hollywood would get, but they don't. So Domingo, as you may or may not know, he wrote the book for 2018 Summer, the Donna Summer musical, and co-produced 2023's Fat Ham, a modern take of William Shakespeare's Hamlet. That was not, I said Shakespeare's Hamlet. Excuse me, that was nominated for a Tony for Best Play. Other theatrical works by Domingo included the play The Brothers, the libretto for Lights Out, Nat King Cole, as well as the plays Dot, Wild and Happy, A Boy and His Soul, and Up Jump Springtime. So the man definitely is a literary person. He's definitely good at writing and things. And that's what I always like about performers. If you have the ability to write a script and you have that other creative aspect you can dive into, why not? I mean, like it reminds me of Lin-Manuel Miranda, who I actually saw over the weekend at the WWE Saturday Night main event. He was there in the front row. Also, I saw Chuck Liddell and his wife going into one of the suites. So, um, that's in the here on there. But I was thinking Broadway and on theater and all that stuff, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, which he loves wrestling. So Domingo's double Emmy noms this year is for comedy series supporting actor for Netflix 4 seasons and the guest actor drama series for Euphoria. He already won a guest actor in drama series trophy in 2022 for Euphoria. Domingo never stops. He's guest hosting Jimmy Kimmel Live all next week. Domingo was not, well, that's probably this week because I think the story came out over the weekend. Now, Domingo was nominated for 2 Best Actor Oscars back to back for 2024's Rustin and 2025 Sing Sing. Now, don't be surprised if you see him at an awards race again this year because, he did play Joe Jackson in Antoine Fuqua's Michael, which I already know passed $1 billion at the global box office. So, if anything, even though a lot of people had issues with the movie, whatever the case was, you can't deny that Colman Domingo did a fabulous job playing Joe Jackson. So I would just nominate him for that, even though y'all already know I had issues with that damn film. But he definitely turned it as Joe Jackson. Now, O'Hara directed and wrote the 2011 feature horror thriller Inheritance and wrote Insurrection, Holding History, and Booty Candy, a time traveling play exploring racial and sexual identity. Booty Candy is I love me some Booty Candy. I don't know what this is about, but I do love Booty Candy. Is a series of comedic scenes primarily following the characters of Sutter, a homosexual Black man growing from adolescence to manhood. The piece won the Lambda Literary Award for LGBT drama. So I will say this: we got two homosexuals of color about to write a Princess and the Frog script, which I actually like because quiet as is kept. Y'all be hating on the gays, but us homosexuals, we know how to write a script if need be, especially when it comes to kids stuff. Because we are pretty much in touch with our inner child. A lot of y'all like to say we like to touch children. Well, I don't know where y'all get that information because we don't. 9 times out of 10, we don't even like these fucking kids. But we'll write a mean script if we need to. So shout out to Colman Domingo, another big win on his hands should this deal go through, because they said it hasn't gone through. He's in talks. Excuse me, to co-write it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you here for this situation, and are you here for a Tangled live action movie? I just be like, I don't care about these live action animated situations, but anything that's going to show give a voice or to show a bright spot in children of color where they could see like their own selves on the screen, or a hero, because that's why we have these situations. If there wasn't these big issues in regards to the situation, we wouldn't need DEI and all this other mess if people actually stopped being such goddamn racists and just let artists be and be creative and not try to put boulders in the way. That's what I loved about that interview that Kim Petras did with the Swithologist, where she was just talking about how when she was a trans artist being signed to Republic, they wanted her to be the spokesperson for the trans community. And it's like, can I just make my music? Can I just be my own artistic self? Now you trying to make me come out here and be a spokesperson for a demographic that's not my ministry. So I always feel like the reason why people talk this woke DEI mess is because these corporations don't know how to handle people who are different or an other. They think that, okay, so you happen to have somebody in your team or in your roster that is black, Hispanic, homosexual, trans, whatever the case is, they got to be the leader of the pack. Bitch, I didn't say I want to do all that. I just want to make my own, I just want to create. Me being a trans, me being a homosexual, me being black, all of that, that comes secondary. I'm an artist first, and I'm sensitive about my ish. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, and shout out to how you doing, Wendy Williams. It was her birthday over the weekend. There's 5 Kick albums. My personal favorite is the very experimental industrial. Yeah, I think everybody pretty much. I think Kick 3 is like the favorite. That's the one I listen to out of all of them. And I like that an artist is like, you know what? I'm gonna just do a series of these things, and I'm gonna just experiment with all these different sounds. The VHS gave horror movies a personality that streaming can't duplicate. Crappy B movies or good slasher, the cover art always. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, those days are gone. It's like I just love Kick 2 and self-titled. This is gonna make me sound like such a not a bottom child, but I am a Disney homosexual. It gives balls to admit how much I love the Disney princess movies coming from someone who cried watching Pinocchio. Did you cry when Bambi's mother passed too? Um, so this sounds like this might be something up your alley. Not the step. That's why I said you're making a movie about the evil stepsisters. Like, come on, we're doing this anti-hero crap. I mean, and how well did that work for Sony with their Spider-Man universe? Trying to make the villains interested by turning them into anti-heroes. It all flopped. Wait, is this the anniversary of Whitney's death or something? Like, why are we talking about R.I.P. Whitney? He said that reminds me. Oh, did they chop Selena S titties from that show yet? She was being so annoying on Big Brother. That reminds me, Ella Langley joins Mariah and Whitney as the only female artist to have a #1 song for 14 non-consecutive weeks. Jafar and Colman actually are probably going to do the award circuit. Watch Michael get re-released in theater, probably. And they should do sing-alongs. That would be annoying. I mean, I won't be going to any of them, but they should do sing-alongs. That might work, especially for the fall. To me, I feel like Jafar did what he could with that part Do I think he should be getting nominated for an Oscar? They'll probably nominate for an Oscar just so they could just throw it out there. I don't think he'll win, but for him looking very much uncannily like him and embodying his uncle and the other stuff and the mannerisms and the voice and all this stuff, even though his voice wasn't always like that. He did that for pomp and circumstance. It'd have been nice for him to showcase like his real voice, but it was all pomp and circumstance throughout the whole movie. So he did what he could with the part that he had, but when it was time for him to play all those nuanced parts, I don't feel like the script allowed him to do that. So that's going to hurt him in a lot of ways. There's probably going to be a lot of great parts that people are going to be nominated for. I could definitely, even though I haven't seen it yet, I would not be surprised if Matt Damon's going to get nominated for playing Odysseus in the Odyssey. 90s Mariah, it made me, I'll never say no to Okoye. He said, I probably did cry when Bambi's mother got pow pow. But I just remember bawling my eyes out when Pinocchio got lost in the sea and separated from his cat. But everybody has their emotional moments. All right, now speaking of emotional moments, let's talk about Masters of the Universe. So, Masters of the Universe, after flopping hard at the box office, unfortunately, we now have I have a date that y'all can actually watch Masters of the Universe at home. All you got to do is wait 2 more days because on Wednesday it'll be available on Prime Video. So they said that basically, it'll be out on Wednesday, July 22nd. And you already know the movie had a disappointing run at the box office. It just brought in $113 million worldwide. I wonder how much what was the budget? Oh, 100, child. It definitely flopped. The budget was 170 million. It only brought in 113.3 million. So the Travis Knight directed feature, based on a popular 80s toy property and syndicated animated TV series, was in development for 18 years with escape artists and didn't light the box office on fire, as I stated, with 170 million production costs. Now they also said that it got a B cinema score and a critical score of 67% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. This despite the production putting its best foot forward and to significantly one up the previous feature take on the popular Mattel toy, which was released in 1987 and starred Dolph Lundgren as He-Man and Frank Langella as Skeletor. The Master of the Universe stars Prime Video's red, white, and royal blue star Nicholas Galitzine as Prince Adam. He's been separated from his cosmic kingdom Eternia for 15 years, but the sword of power leads him back where there's unfinished business with the fiendish rule of Skeletor, played by Jared Leto. To save his family and his world, Adam must join forces with his closest allies, Tila, Camila Mendez, and Duncan, Man at Arms, Idris Elba, and embrace his true destiny as He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. So, child, there was like 4 people that wrote that script: Chris Butler and brothers Aaron and Adam Nee and Dave Callahan. They basically wrote the script off a story by Aaron Nee and Adam Nee and Alex Litvak and Michael Finch. So it just seemed like y'all got 4 people who wrote the story, 4 people who wrote the script, probably more that wasn't even credited, but it was just literally, this just seemed like you could definitely tell there was a lot of hands in the kit, a lot of cooks in the kitchen, a lot of fingerprints all over this film. And to me, just felt like tonally it was all over the place. There were minutes where it was like you were interjecting jokes where it didn't need to be. I do feel like they should have went more of a fantastical Lord of the Rings type, or even House of the Dragon type of approach, where it's kind of got that period vibe going on, serious action sequences. And if you want to throw in a little joke or two to not take itself too seriously, I'd have been here for that. But I just felt like the problem that I have with this movie is tonally it was all over the place. And I don't believe that Amazon truly believed in this film. Because it definitely felt like when the movie came out or when y'all were promoting the film, y'all were kind of like backing away a little bit. And then when the trailers came out, I always say this, you only got one chance to make a first impression. So when the trailer came out, I think people were left baffled and confused. They just didn't know. It was like, okay, who is this film for? And that's kind of like what I felt. Now, me as a fan of the Mattel toy, me growing up playing with the action figures having He-Man and Skeletor and all and Cringer and Castle Grayskull and Great and Snake Mountain and all these other, different iterations. When I had all these things and I played it growing up, of course you're gonna hit me because I'm the demographic for this. So I'm gonna go support it and go see the film. But going to see the movie, there are parts of it that I enjoyed, and there are parts of it that I was just like, y'all could have did without this. Some of the scenes just didn't work. Nicholas Galitzine definitely looks good as He-Man, as you can see here. The body was body. And when it came down to the action sequences, the choreography, the fight sequences were pretty good. I had a good time with that. But there were just certain parts of the film where I'm just like, it just didn't work. So I think it'll be a long time before if ever, if we even get another He-Man movie. So far it just seems like Amazon just likes wasting money. But yeah, so if y'all care, you can sit and wait 2 more days before it winds up on Prime Video. You know what also was on Prime Video, and also it popped up yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get around and watch it. But I was like, I was just so tired I couldn't get around to it. So Is God is finally out, and it's on Prime Video too. So I need to check that out. I don't know. The one thing about Prime Video, you got to be careful when you're going, because sometimes you'll go up on there and I'll be like looking for stuff to watch, and movies will just pop up out of nowhere and you didn't even realize they released it. So they don't really be doing good. It's kind of like Netflix. Like stuff just winds up popping up there, and then you find out, oh, so this is out. Okay, I guess I'll watch this. So I say, well, this is like, what do you guys think of this story? I mean, have you seen Masters of the Universe yet? Or you look forward to seeing it? Are you going to be checking out? Do you have Prime Video? So yeah, and if you do have Prime Video, are you going to be watching it on Wednesday when it pops up finally on the streaming service? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I mean, it was. It just seemed like it was way too many cooks. You got four writers, you got four people who came up with the story. Tonally, it just seemed like it was all over the place, and that's probably why the movie didn't do as well as it was. I mean, you're not gonna get Gen Z to come see a He-Man movie unless these are boys coming to terms with their sexuality and they like red, white, and royal blue. Which I didn't see it. It was cute. Speaking of which, I know they just dropped the Heartstopper. What was it? Movie? I haven't seen. I need to see that. It seems probably Amazon has decided to sell MGM and is thinking they're better as a straight to streaming because they're even skipping the opportunity to buy them. Well, they need to figure out what they're doing because I don't feel like they're doing MGM any justice. It'll be interesting to see who decides to buy it. MGM got some pretty good shows. Like they got a bunch of stuff on there. So, and this past season of From, I gotta actually sit down and watch it. I haven't watched it yet. Also, I know the Vampire Lestat just ended, so I got to catch up on that. The finale was yesterday. All right, y'all. So that was getting some music tea. And let's talk about FIFA. So the FIFA forum concluded yesterday, where it was a lot going on. First of all, we had Nicole Scherzinger screaming for Hudson, Robbie Williams. They was out there singing and doing their thing. Trump popped up on the screen. He got booed like they booed his ass down at the Madison Square Garden when he showed up for that game. What was it? Game three? Yeah, I think it was game three at the Garden, and then the Knicks lost. So, um, yeah, so that happened. And then, of course, we get around to the halftime special, which, quiet as it's kept, I see why we don't have a halftime for FIFA. Because that halftime was a hot ass mess. I was thoroughly disappointed. Now, I'm going to tell you who my favorite performance was of the night. I'm going to give my overall opinion, but let's get into the story. So, Chanta, BTS, Borber, because that's what I'm starting to call him. He has gotten so boring with his music. And Shakira headlined the first ever FIFA World Cup Finals halftime show on Sunday, playing a packed 11-minute mega mix that also featured Burna Boy, the New York Philharmonic's Gustavo Dudamel, and the Muppets. So yeah, even T.I.'s wife was up there performing on them drums. Now, aka Janice. So Madonna kicked off the show, throttling through the New York, New Jersey stadium tunnels in a dune buggy, fittingly driven by renowned Brazilian soccer players Ronaldo and Ronaldinho in a pre-recorded segment. Now, in the segment, the pop star sang they said she sang a new version of music. She did not. Number one, if you were a Madonna fan, The Hollywood Reporter, you would know that she performed this version of music with the Disco Inferno beat on her Confessions tour. So if you actually was a fan, you'd know that. But you're allowed to make a mistake. That's why I'm here to correct it. So, um, he led musicians from the New York Philharmonic and Venezuela's Simon Bolivar Symphony Orchestra in a rendition of Seven Nation Army, sorry, with Iranian violinist Bajan Mortazavi and the Muppets rock group Electric Mayhem in one of the several Muppets appearances. Well, let me tell you, let's get to the first things first. Let's about Santa, who opened the show. Of course, Madonna sets the mood. Music brings the people together. I understand why she chose that song. People were upset because she didn't sing nothing new from the album. Technically, she did. She did throw a little danceteria up in there. I understand how y'all feel, but she's like, look, y'all gonna have to wait for if we drop the extra songs that we said that we worked on. Wait till then when we go on the tour or when I do what not Glastonbury. I almost said Coachella chat. So just wait till I do Glastonbury and then y'all get more. But in the meantime, it was only 11 minutes. I had to work with all these other artists, and there's no shade to them, but it was like y'all crammed so much in for me to do that um I had an issue. Well, hold on, because I also got some extra tea that we're gonna get into. Apparently, there was a beef that was going on between Madonna and Justin Bieber. So we got to get into that in a second, but I just want to go through each situation. So I like the idea of like, yeah, Madonna was up there on the Doom buggy. She was being driven around by two soccer icons, which we love, and she gave y'all a little something something. And the one thing I do like about what Madonna did, she gave you a theme, she set the mood, and she was the best performance of the night and reminded you bitches why she is the queen of pop. And I think people need to realize that. It's like she gave you a full-on thing. Then we get to the Muppets and they did their thing. I was like, oh, that's cute. Then BTS came out and sang Dynamite. Cute. But here's the thing. BTS ain't give us nothing we ain't seen already. And you know what irritated me about this whole show? Everybody came out and was doing their own thing, but nobody had like a defining moment. Nobody really had a time to shine. Yes, Madonna did her thing, but by the time that we could get into the groove, pun intended, we was on to the next thing. So it's sort of like blinking you miss it moments. Like I think each performance was like what, maybe 2 minutes or something or another. So then we got BTS doing their synchronized dancing and the lip syncing for your life and all the other mess that they normally do. And it was like, okay, that's cute or whatever. Y'all got 50 people up there dancing behind you. And it was cute. It was like it is what it is. Then Justin Bieber comes out. Clearly, he didn't read the damn room. So he comes out strumming a goddamn guitar like he's performing in some cafe in the middle of downtown LA or whatever, singing some song nobody asked him to perform, looking a mess. And then we get Shakira, which Dada is cute. I love that she brought out Burna Boy. It was cute. Excuse me, that she had the kids up there dancing, whatever. But Shakira's another one. Shakira gave us something we've seen that she's given us a million times. So, what was the point of this? That's how I feel about the whole headlining FIFA World Cup final halftime show. What was the point? The fact that y'all could just have a bunch of A-list celebrities up there performing so y'all could go viral? Okay, virality is cute or whatever, but to me, I just felt like seeing all those performances, yeah, it's awesome, but y'all really gave us nothing memorable or valuable. Quiet as it's kept, there was a lot of people up there saying Madonna should have did the whole damn show. Well, I will agree with that. Madonna should have did the whole thing and showed you bitches how it's done. And then there was one article I read, well, one comment I read was somebody was trying to go because they were making ageist comments about Madonna. It's about, oh, y'all trying to make her be up there at 67, being sexy, whatever. And I said, why, you mad because nobody want to fuck you willingly? That's literally what I wrote in the comments. You know, I don't be blocking people no more. I want y'all to see what the fuck I said. And I want you to come back and try to come for me so I can come for you harder. You know, I love reading bitches online. Now I'm getting into the whole basis of trolling for the sake of trolling because I just be like, you know what? I just feel like choosing violence today. So that's what I be doing a lot of times when I be reading some of your comments online. Normally I can scroll by, but sometimes I just don't want to. I want to be a bitch. So um with all that being said, so I'm just sick of people making ageist and I'm gonna tell y'all this now. Don't even think about coming up with the ageist comments in my comments, my actual comments, because I had to read somebody earlier for doing that shit. Coming up in my comments, making old lady comments and stuff. And some lady was like, "My mother's 80 years old," and said that she liked the BTS performance first time she ever heard him, but then had the nerve to call Madonna old. I'm like, bitch, excuse you, are you slow? Because you're 80 something years old. Madonna's 67. Technically, you still older than her, bitch. So how's she the old one? You older than her. I swear to Christ, you know, some people really don't think before they hit send on social media. Like, and I just be, you know, I'm one because I think I just be highly intelligent in too many different things. I have time to go in and just remind people how stupid they are and some of the stuff they say. Like, how you gonna read somebody on their age when bitch you older than them? You in your octogenarian age. Madonna's on her sexagenarian age. So was there anything else I want to add? Because I was just sitting there like, okay, it was cute or whatever with Burna Boy and Shakira and Bieber fucking up the vibe with everything hallelujah. I'm like, girl, this ain't church. Say that shit for whatever ministry you plan on. I mean, I get it. Yesterday was Sunday, but this ain't the time to play. If you want to go sing that at that football stadium that passes as a church for Joel Osteen, you go ahead and do that over there. But in this situation, girl, we don't want it. We didn't ask for it. Now, I want to tell y'all this tea. So I came across this, and thank you for bringing this to my attention, friend to the show, Robert. So apparently there is some drama that was conspiring behind the scenes between Fanta and Justin Bieber. So according to the blast, they wound up saying that there was some tension that erupted behind the World Cup halftime show. So they said that Madonna and Justin had very different ideas about how to make history. Well, clearly y'all didn't make history in the right way because that shit was not memorable that went down yesterday. So Coldplay frontman Chris Martin curate. Y'all had his boring ass curate this whole situation. So Chris Martin from Coldplay curated the unprecedented July 19th performance at New York, New Jersey Stadium, assembling a blockbuster lineup led by Madonna, Bieber, Shakira, and BTS. So behind the scenes, they said, and this is according to the Daily Mail, so y'all can take this with a grain of salt, but we'll entertain it because it's out here. They said the Queen of Pop's appetite for spectacle reportedly clashed with Bieber's determination to deliver a clean, controlled performance following the criticism surrounding his Coachella comeback, which was just as boring as that performance you did yesterday. So how you going to talk about that you wanted a clean, controlled performance? You clearly did not read the room. Because when you do something like Super Bowl or any kind of halftime, people want spectacle. People don't want you sitting there strumming a guitar to some boring ass song. I'm like, is this the part where I go to sleep? Wake me up when this motherfucker's done. Like that's how I would have been. So they said neither wants to walk away feeling like they played second fiddle. Well, child, he was playing more than he was playing second fiddle, third fiddle, fourth fiddle. Even though you telling had a guitar up there, you was playing the fiddle, literally, with that performance. So the alleged friction was not about whether the World Cup halftime show should succeed, but what success should look like. Their different approaches have created real tension behind the scenes, leaving Martin trying to figure it out before it gets out of hand. So he trying to be the Jay-Z of the situation with this whole halftime situation. And speaking of which, speaking of Jay-Z, he and Beyonce was there yesterday too, along with Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet. I'm like, you know what? If Timothy and Kylie don't take their clout chasing asses somewhere, because anytime somebody get in the finals and it's something big, them two pop up somewhere. Y'all did it during the Knicks situation, and now you're doing it with FIFA. So Bieber reportedly viewed the global stage as an opportunity to refocus attention on his music and have it, well, sir, do that on tour. Don't do that up in here with this global situation because everybody who's there watching this ain't a fan of Justin Bieber. So yeah, he wanted to focus his attention on his music and avoid a performance that might overshadow the songs for the wrong reasons. His mindset is simple and it showed. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make unnecessary risks. Or don't take unnecessary risks, and absolutely don't have a performance that becomes a story for all the wrong reasons. Well, it did become a story for all the wrong reasons. The fact of the matter was, it was boring. And here's the thing. Um, I think Noah, wait, is was it Liam Gallagher or Noel Gallagher? It was one of the Gallaghers from Oasis, who I think is in a beef with Metallica. But one of the Gallaghers came out and said that watching the FIFA halftime was like a bad mind trip. I'm like, was there Special K involved? Was there meth? I mean, what kind of acid? Like, what was the situation? Because it kind of was a bad trip. It was so all over the place. It was a lot of sensory overload. I don't know what to make of it. So, the approach reportedly they said followed a response to Bieber's Coachella performance in April. The singer stripped down set divided viewers, with some criticizing its limited production and comparing it unfavorably to Sabrina Carpenter's elaborate appearance at the festival, saying he wants this to be about the music, clean, control, no distractions. Well, if you want to do like a stripped down versions of what it is that you want to do, you do that on your own time with your own tour. You could do that. You could do small venues. It could just be you and your guitar and your little laptop, and you could show little YouTube videos in the background, and the believers will eat that basic shit up. But when you're doing something like a halftime special, you got to know the time and the place for the artistic endeavors that you want to do. And the one thing I will always give Madonna is that Madonna is someone who has always paid attention to, if I'm going to be performing at certain venues, what is it that I'm going to bring to the table that will really add spectacle, whatever the case is. There's a time and a place to strip things down. There's a time and a place to add the spectacle. And when you're doing halftime, you got to entertain your audience. You can't just come out there with jorts on, because that's literally what it was. Like, you literally put on John Cena's jorts and came out there and strummed the goddamn guitar with some stubble on your face, trying to be like, I'm a serious artist. That's how I feel about that before. I'm like, boy, if you don't get off my line with this pretentious bullshit. So that understated version was seemingly never going to satisfy Danta. The music icon has spent more than 4 decades building performances around provocative headlining generating moments, from putting her mouth all over Britney Spears at the 2003 MTV Music Awards to surprising Drake with a, oh God, him. And then the kiss with Drake. So then they said Madonna is rarely treated a major stage like an ordinary concert, saying, quote, she believes a stage this massive calls for something people will be talking about for years. In her mind, a World Cup final performance should be unforgettable, not safe. And that's the problem with a lot of these boring ass artists. They just play it safe. But you want to know something? All Justin Bieber's life, he's been celebrated for being mediocre, or just white artists in general. Male artists, I should say. The source emphasized that Madonna respected Bieber, but had no intention of fading into the background. Madonna has no intention of being upstaged. She respects Justin. Wait, hold on, where'd I go? Because it just all of a sudden moved. I said she respects Justin and wants the show to be a massive success, but she won't let it become the Justin show. If she feels he's steering things, excuse me, in a direction that's too safe, she won't be, and hasn't been shy about pushing back. Well, here's the thing. This is the part where I don't necessarily know if I believe this, but it's about that she has no intention of being upstaged. She respects him, but she won't let it become the Justin show. At what point of us watching that performance did it become the Justin show? If anything, Justin got dragged on social media for being so damn boring and safe. People are talking about Madonna putting on the best performance, saying that she should have just did the whole thing by herself. And then, of course, you're going to get the trolls that come in and talk about she's old, old. I'm like, first of all, MFer, you better hope that you make it to 67. So you see all these old men out here, Rolling Stones still performing. I just saw Bon Jovi is still out here performing, got a residency at the Garden. So many older artists have been coming out here performing. Y'all don't say shit. But the minute a woman comes out and performs, all of a sudden she's old. She needs to hang it up. She needs to retire. I just admit that you're just an ageist, misogynist piece of crap. How about that? Instead of trying to hide behind all this other crap, because I'll call it out in a minute. I just applaud anybody who is not afraid to come out here and just do what they want to keep doing at any age. And I think that's why people are really pissed because Madonna reminds them of their mortality. I think that's why people are really pissed. Ain't got shit to do with her old Donna and all the other stuff that y'all come out with. I think because she is a reflection of where you're heading. It's like, oh fuck, I'm getting old. Yes, it's inevitable. Unless you want to die young and present a beautiful corpse. So if you want to do that, then there's ways you can get around that. But for the most part, we're all going to get old and pass. None of us, I mean, it's inevitable. None of us are going to last forever, regardless of how these rich billionaire oligarchs or whatever try to tell you how you can take your essence and put it in AI or whatever type of stupid machine that they think they're going to put their essence in. So I don't know if I believe that part with the whole thing of them him trying to her trying to come in and upstage or whatever. I feel like Madonna's going to do what Madonna does. She's going to incorporate what she's going to incorporate in the amount of time that she has to do her thing. But and other people, y'all just get up there and do what you got to do. Because I'm like, how she just come on Justin and didn't say anything about Shakira and the other ones? Because she knows Shakira's going to give spectacle, BTS is going to give spectacle, and here you got Justin trying to just go against the establishment and rebel and give us strumming my pain with my fingers like he Roberta damn Flack. So this is Daily Mail just going on and on and on and on. I was like, y'all don't know how to just like be done with the article. Like y'all still going with this crap. So I feel like that's all I got to say on this whole situation. And in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the FIFA World Cup halftime final, whatever, it's so many goddamn things you can you can add to that. I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know your thoughts. What were your overall thoughts? Did you like it? Was it a chop? Who were your favorite moments? Who could have added a little more seasoning to the gumbo in regards to their performance? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Who was the artistic director? Chris Martin from Coldplay. I told y'all who it was. It was like, Chris, I don't believe the so-called beef. Some young man I never heard talking about on. I don't know if I believe it either. That's what I was like when I started reading further into it. I'm like, I'm calling BS on this because I'm sitting like, why would Madonna even try to interject herself in what other people are doing? She's gonna focus on what she's bringing to the table. There probably was clashes in regards of how much time that she could have in regards of putting the show together. But I don't think that is true. I'm trying to get that last part of Drew. You said some young man I never heard talking about on a YouTube channel. I'm like, was that a read? It's a Justin looking like he not asking for change. It looked very AI generated. I was not feeling it at all. Yeah, there was some issues I was having like the shots and the camera. I'm glad they was raising the coins, but it looked a mess. Like you said, Madonna should have done the whole show. People aren't going saying this about the Rolling Stones. Why do people have a problem with Madonna is doing what she loves? Because, like I said, it reminds them of their own mortality. But I'm like, men don't remind you of your own mortality too. It's not. We don't only have one damn gender that exists. I mean. But I think people have a problem because of the patriarchy and what we're supposed to believe about women and how they're supposed to survive in the world. That at a certain age, they're supposed to just go by the wayside. At least the arrogant racist Argentine team got. Yeah, I was like, fuck Argentina, racist asses. So don't cry for them because they lost. And then how they was acting after it was over, they trying to start fights with tripping people. I was like, y'all play dirty. It reminded me so much of the Spurs. That's what Argentina reminds me of. Y'all are the Spurs of Argentina. Just a bunch of spoiled, arrogant assholes. And Trump, I believe, cursed them as well because he did say, I don't want to bet on no team, but it's hard to go against Messi. And the minute he said, I'm like, they're gonna lose. And I'm glad they did. Because y'all stay a messy ass. Screw him. He said, Justin, go to coffee bars and bars if you want to pull the Jewel Coffee Shop unsigned cosplay, okay? We do love Jewel, but look, she had to catch a stray to get the read across. Just an odd acoustic track got ill. There's no requirement for taste, apparently. Justin should have been told no, because I believe that's why we didn't get Madonna and Fade, because I feel his section would have been, would have been her and Fade as that was the official track. Well, yeah, that they should have performed "Read My Lips" or whatever the case was. She could have did a Disco Inferno, but also came in with Fade, come out, and then they do their thing, and then, but like the latter part where he comes out, says his part, and then she comes and do her little booty twerk, booty tooch, or whatever the case is. It should have been that. But I'm not the creative director. I didn't come up with that. But yeah, Justin, you should have came out and did like an up tempo track. You coming out with that guitar. I'm like, what is this? And my thing is, if your hearts is not in the music thing anymore, retire. Just go by the ways. You already sold your whole damn catalog. And you clearly just like being Haley's husband. So just stay at home. We don't need you out here in these streets. Y'all could have got Benson Boone. He'd have been happy to be up there flipping for a minute. I agree with you 100%. Madonna was my favorite, and I enjoyed the show. Hmm. Oh, God, the fucking stuffed nose. Anyway, so now we got more FIFA news. Let's talk about the funniest thing of the hour, which is Trump got booed at the World Cup final. So of course, once we had it like similar to what happened at at MSG when the national anthem was being sung, the cameras went to Trump, he got booed. At the FIFA World Cup, screaming for Hudson got her behind up there and started singing the national anthem. They panned to Trump, along with Melania, bony ass being there, and he got booed there as well. So of course, there's a method to my madness about this picture. Spain is actually happy that they're celebrating and FIFA fo fum, standing around not knowing where the hell he supposed to go. The president and trying to get him, not the president of the United States, the president of the FIFA World Cup, trying to get him off the thing. He don't know. It's just he just need to be the center of everything. He always wants the attention on him, and then wants to take things away. But y'all better hold on to that trophy for dear life, because he's gonna sit up there and try to claim it as his own. So y'all be careful, because that thief like taking everything. I mean, all the money in the world he been stealing from our government is not enough. He gonna steal y'all trophy too. So Spain may be 2026 my people. So shout out to España, World Cup official winner. But the game actually has two losers. Thank you, Donald Trump. I meant to say thanks to Donald Trump. Now, during a brief appearance on the jumbotrons around New York, New Jersey Stadium, the crowd of Argentina and Spain fans booed the U.S. president, who was set to present the World Cup trophy itself to the winning team. The moment happened just after Screamer for Hudson performed the national anthem, saying he was shown sitting in a box next to Melania Trump and a few more times throughout the game. This isn't the first time that Trump has been booed at a sporting event, and it certainly won't be the last. Now, aside from UFC fights and stops on the PGA Tour, most major sporting events have been hostile territory for Trump, which is like, I don't know why you don't just stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. You already know Dana Whitehead so far up the man ass, he already know what he probably got that all of that shitty diaper all over his face at this point. So stick to the rivers and the lakes. Why do you want to come out and jump on other situations where you go into other sporting events where you're gonna get booed? And I remember when we all heard that Trump was gonna be at MSG, we all said it. He gonna get booed. We all know it, because basketball fans are a different type of clique. They're not here for the bullshit. They're not up here for all that mess that he's doing. You can get away with that with UFC, maybe wrestling, probably not. I think the wrestling people turn on him too. That's WWE and all that other stuff. They wouldn't have put up with him being there either. But um you should just stuck to what it is what you used to, because Dana White gonna make sure you don't get booed. Even then, there's no guarantee. He might get booed in those type of places. But a lot of those fighters aren't that bright anyway. So Trump's personal participation at the World Cup has also been disastrous for the country's national team, after a controversial red card decision temporarily suspending the USMNT star striker, excuse me, Florian Balogun from a crucial round of 16 games against Belgium. Trump personally intervened, calling FIFA President Gianni Infantino personally. Balogun's red card was suddenly overturned. See, here you go trying to interfere with stuff like everything. And then, of course, what had happened was, but rather than giving the U.S. a striking chance of beating Belgium, the controversial decision sparked a stressed-out vibe shift among the U.S. team, who put in perhaps their worst performance of the tournament and ended up being battered out of the round of 16, 4-1. Now, fans immediately compared Trump's intervention to his controversial appearance at Game 4 of the. He wasn't at Game 4; he was at Game 3. Game 5 was when they won over in where the fuck is the Spurs from? I can't remember at this point. I'm drawing a blank. Game 4 was when we had the historical moment where we thought we was going to lose, and then OG got that ball up in there, and we actually won. So that's Game 4, the iconic game. He was at Game 3, which was a Monday. Game 4 was a Wednesday. I know because I know. So anyway, so despite the booze, well, actually, they said that yeah, that he was at Game 3 of the NBA Finals, where the New York Knicks lost the only game of their eventual 4-1 defeat of the San Antonio Spurs. I forgot they're from Texas. And also, y'all, like I said earlier, Trump was also booed there. To be fair, now despite the boos, Trump has something to look forward to. Personally, presenting the World Cup trophy to the eventual winners, which he got booed doing that too. But I should also point out that this won't be the first time he's done it at a soccer competition either. So last summer, he handed out the Club World Cup trophy to the winning team, London's Chelsea FC Chelsea players, including star Cole Palmer, looks confused as to why he was there. This isn't a ceremonial decision that the players have any control over. And that's the problem that I hate, is that these billionaires sit up in here using these poor players. These players are just trying to have an opportunity for themselves. They just want to perform. They just want to play the game that they love, the sport that they love. And you have these higher ups who just use these players like pawns. Don't really give a shit about them. No shade, but that's just the energy I get from that. And then because you want to appease somebody for whatever reason, maybe a tax write off or whatever the case is, you invite this president to come there because you already know you flatter him a little bit, you can get anything you want out of him. Because clearly America is for sale under this crook. So, yeah, and then these players are caught in the middle. I'm just glad so far that the Knicks haven't met up with Donald Trump at the White House after their win, because they ain't. I don't think they trying to do that whole situation. You know, Jalen Brunson just got surgery on his hand. I don't know if you watched Saturday. What was it? Saturday main event on the WWE. He was there. Him and Kat was there because I worked the event. They were there, and he came out in the end. And he had like the handbrake, so he just got surgery and all this other stuff. So I'm hoping that still doesn't happen, because I don't like the fact that you're putting these people, like, backing them into a corner where they have to kowtow to this lunatic who is out here playing golf and going to FIFA World Cup finals when American soldiers are being unalived over a war we didn't ask for in Iran. So you over here starting wars with the help of Netanyahu, who, shout out to my mayor, Zoran Mamdani, said if he stepped foot in New York, he's getting arrested. And then Trump told me he's not. I'm like, sir, you have no power here. In the words of Glinda the Good Witch, you don't have power up in New York. You can't tell us what the fuck we can do on our shores. We ran your fat, funky ass out of New York, which is why you were down there at the Mar-a-Lago in Florida cheating at your own golf matches. So they did say the national teams are a bit different. Argentina's president, Javier Milei, has made himself an ideological ally, and that's why y'all asses lost to the Trump administration, even speaking to several U.S. political events and at Trump's Mar Lunatic resort. Now, Spain's government has a less cozy relationship with Trump, so it'll be interesting to see who lifts the trophy and what the crowd has to say when Trump hands it out. So, um, yeah, that'll be definitely interesting, because it's like the way he's been talking crap about Spain. These people don't want to be messing with him. There was even some players that refused to even shake his hand or fist bump or whatever the case was. And that's their prerogative. What you're not going to do is disrespect my people and then expect me to just respect you. And that's what irritates me about people. Oh, take the high road or look, turn the other cheek, be better. How about you tell this motherfucker to lead by example? You're supposed to be the president. You are the leader of the free world. You're supposed to be a representation of the the good old, and I say that sarcastically, United States of America. But he's not doing that. He's representing the worst attributes of America. Our obsession with celebrity culture. This is why we got this man in the White House, and the fact that we have a bunch of do nothing damn Democrats who don't want to do the job that you actually hired them to do. So then you got ugly ass Lurch, what's his name? The one from the senator. Is it the one that wear the hoodie? From Pennsylvania, that fool out there trying to call Zoran names or whatever because he talking about he going after Netanyahu. I was like, okay, sir. First of all, we already know your head is so far up Apex ass that y'all getting whatever it is you getting out of them. Then we got corny ass Cory Booker, who's constantly a disappointment, tap dancing for that old Thai queen, Lady G, that just passed away. It's about, oh, he funny. Oh yeah, he's made a whole lot of American lives, particularly the homosexual community, a living hell. But he was funny. He cracked a couple of jokes. Is that the same thing y'all gonna say when Trump passed? Oh, he did a whole lot of bad things to the American people, but he sure knew how to tell a joke. Jesus Christ, we are doomed as a nation. So I say all this. Oh wait, before we get off this, there was a story that came out also, a rumor that was floating around regarding Madonna and Trump in the same suite. So somebody was going around spreading a rumor that Madonna and Trump was sharing a suite at the World Cup final. First of all, I seen the pictures. She was not in the same suite. He was in some suite where there was a lot of glass. She was sitting outside the suite with her baby. Well, I was gonna say her baby dad. She ain't had no babies with him. With Akeem. I believe Mercy was there. I saw Rocco was there. Well, all the I think all the kids was there because I saw David Banner too, and I think they had the assistant and all that other stuff. So there was a social media post. A shout out to Rolling Stone for bringing this to my attention, by the way. A social media post making the rounds after Sunday's FIFA World Cup final claimed that Madonna was spotted sitting in President Donald Trump's luxury suite at MetLife Stadium. And just to debunk the rumor, she was not in the same suite as him. And you already know, y'all do not sit and put Madonna in the same suite as him. Y'all would definitely hear her mouth. The confusion appeared to stem from a brief shot of Trump's box during the match between Spain and Argentina. The camera caught several guests seated alongside Trump and FIFA President Gianni Infantino, prompting users on Twitter to insist that one of the women visible in the suite seated behind Melania Trump was, in fact, the pop icon fresh off her chart-topping new album Confessions 2. Of course, there are a few obvious problems with that theory. One, Madonna would have been backstage at the time getting ready for her performance. Two, Madonna has been very vocal critic of Trump for decades, both before and after he ran for president. Three, are y'all really that damn stupid? Like I said before, there's no way in hell Madonna would have been up there being like, oh, somebody come to her, literally with a straight face, and tell her team. We got a suite for you, but you got to share it with Donald Trump and you got to sit behind him. She will look at you like, motherfucker, then I'm not coming. I'm not doing this performance, or I'll do the performance and I'm going to go home. But if you want those moments of, and you know, she live in New York, so she ain't got far to go. She get in the car and take about 2 hours, probably to get across the bridge, or maybe depending on the traffic. Because I heard from people who I know that live, one of my coworkers at the Garden lives 10 minutes away from MetLife, and he said coming into the city, it was pretty good. Like he didn't have to um, he said, yeah, there was no traffic. And I think because everybody was already in the stadium. So she would have looked at job and like, hell no. I will do the performance, but I'm gonna go home. So any chance of me actually sitting and watching this game and y'all want to get shots of me in the suite, that's not happening. You're not putting me in that room with that fat, funky fuck. That's not happening. So come up with something else. If y'all can find some place to put Jay-Z and Beyonce and Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner and all the and Tom Cruise and all these other celebrities, you can find some way to put Madonna. So come on, y'all can't believe everything y'all read on unverified ass Twitter. So now they said a rep for Madonna confirmed to Rolling Stone that she was not, in fact, in Trump's World Cup suite. During the game, Madonna headlined, as y'all know, the first ever FIFA World Cup halftime show, opening the 11-minute set with her 2000 hit music, which of course was Music Inferno from the Confessions tour, before she was joined on stage by Justin Bieber, BTS, Shakira, Burna Boy, and others. Now, the woman seen in Trump Suite, meanwhile, was dressed differently and appeared during the match while Madonna was literally on stage performing. Despite that, screenshots of the broadcast quickly spread across Twitter where users incorrectly identified her as the mystery guest. Now, Trump attended the final alongside Infantino and was shown repeatedly during the broadcast, including during the trophy presentation after Spain defeated Argentina 1-0, which I have to say that had been the longest match ever because y'all already know when it comes to soccer, that should just go, the clock just runs. They don't even like stop it in between. They did it for the halftime thing, but it just kept going and going and going, and nobody could score. So I watched. I was in the break room at my job getting ready to work the Bon Jovi concert. Um, I got to watch halftime. I got to watch a bit of the game. I'm like, damn, are they in overtime? Because it was like literally, I felt like, are they in overtime? Because still nobody scored. So I found out during roll call while I was getting all the information about the show that Argentina lost to Spain. So, and I was happy, and so were a lot of my coworkers. So there you have it. You know, I love to give y'all all the information that I need to give y'all before we move on to the next thing. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Oh, y'all did that Donald Funky ass Trump got booed at the World Cup final, and the rumors have been debunked regarding Madonna sharing a suite with the moron in chief. I did not ask Siri to collect what I'm talking about. Because all of a sudden this thing just popped on when I said what I said. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Shit. Lord, I can't. That's why I hate being sick. That's why we are going to be lied to. The NFDA. Ow. Damn, that cough hurt. The FDA announced the lettuce was bad, had a false positive only for Taylor Farms, a heavy donor, to make a few calls. An hour later, FDA said Taco. No, we already know that that is not Taco Bell's fault. Apparently, y'all have to realize that. How you gonna blame Taco Bell? Taco Bell has to get stuff distributed to them from the company. Therefore, how you gonna blame the chain? It starts with wherever they got the vegetables and stuff from. So, of course, you can't believe nothing that comes out of that idiot RFK Jr. On topic, Mistress just spilled some tea on Sasha Colby, and I am gagged. Sasha has to respond to this. Check it out after the show. I'll definitely talk about that, and I mean, I'll check it out. And if anything, um, once I'm done with that, that may become a topic for tomorrow's show. I didn't see her performance, but I did see the photos. She looked beautiful. Well, if you want to see the performance, you can probably go on YouTube and check it out. And I've seen that it's all over Twitter as well. But yeah, the she did look good, and the performance was good, even though yes, it was pre-recorded, except for when she walked out on the field and had her little moment, and that was, but everything else was pre-filmed, pre-taped. I knew the game was going on and didn't care to watch, but at the very last minute, I finally tuned in, and joy I had on my face when I saw that Spain got one goal and Argentina had zero. Yeah, because I was like, okay, whoever gets this goal, they're gonna have to win. Because at that point, it was like the game was pretty much done. We just need somebody to score at this point. People don't trust fast food joints, but people will believe. Hello, that's what I said. It's like y'all don't trust fast food, but you'll sit up there and if RFK come out with some bullshit, y'all will actually believe that. Like, come on, consider the source. Y'all can't believe nothing that come out of this regime's mouth. I completely forgot about Madonna performing at halftime. It was short and pre-recorded, so I don't feel the bad about missing it. Well, the only time I got to see is because, like I said, I was in the break room, and that at MSG, and they had all the TV. We got like 3 TVs in there, so all the TVs were pretty much on the same channel. You said it's on Madonna's YouTube, her section on Reddit. I'm like, God damn, why am I getting so many damn messages? Oh, God, y'all are so annoying me. Y'all better leave ASAP Rocky alone. Yeah, they're talking about her man looking zesty. And look, if he's zesty, that's that Rihanna man. Maybe he like getting pegged. Leave him alone. Anyway, let's get back into some OT. Where we going on there? Where we going? Where we going? Where we going? Oh, all right. So it looks like we're down to our final four topics. So before we get to our final four, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button, subscribe, smash the notification bell, do all the things to help the hype the channel, do all the things to help the show get out there to a much bigger and a much bigger audience. So and I also, as y'all already know, I appreciate all of y'all that come in and chime and spill the tea with me every time we do a show. Please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's talk about this messy Paramount Warner Brothers merger. So it looks like the judge has pressed pause on this whole mergers because Paramount Skydance have been trying incessantly to stake claim to Warner Brothers, and it looks like the judge feels like there's some antitrust shenanigans going on, and because there was a 12 state attorney general. They said he granted a request, I should say, from a coalition of 12 state attorneys general who sued to thwart the $110 billion deal. And that some of this money is coming from Saudi Arabia too. So we got foreign people coming up in here and investing in something when you trying to act like you got the coins. And another thing I find hilarious is that you haven't even solidified what is Paramount. You haven't even gotten that off the ground since you acquired it. But y'all so quick to try to buy up another studio. So, according to Variety, a judge ordered a temporary halt to the Paramount Warner Brothers merger on Monday as a state coalition argues it would violate federal antitrust law, leading to higher prices and fewer movies and TV shows. Because, yeah, they did say they was going to do like 30 something movies a year. I don't know how you want to do that. That's next to impossible, especially with all these different studios like combined. Like, you got Paramount, you got Warner Brothers, you got all these different things coming together. How are you going to be able to produce all these films? It's next to impossible. Biting off more than you could chew. So Judge Araceli Martinez Olguin granted a 14-day restraining order after hearing argument from both sides on Friday morning. Paramount had previously agreed not to close the transaction before July 22nd, which is in 2 days. Plaintiff states showing at least demonstrates the serious questions going to the merits remain, weighing in favor of preliminary injunctive relief, the judge wrote, adding that Paramount has acknowledged it will not be harmed by the delay until the end of September. Paramount and Warner Brothers will continue to operate as separate, viable companies competing in the marketplace while they wait for the court to adjudicate this case. Well, they should be operating as separate from the beginning. It's about they will continue to operate as separate. The balance of equities combined with the public's vital interest in antitrust enforcement therefore tips sharply in favor of the requested injunctive relief. The 12 state coalition, led by California, brought a motion for the temporary restraining order. The states are also seeking a preliminary injunction, which would block the merger until the judge rules on the merits of the state's lawsuit. The 14-day restraining order could be extended to as long as 28 days. Martinez Alguin also set a hearing for the preliminary injunction for August 3rd, though that date too could be delayed if the parties agree. Rob Bonta, the Attorney General for California, hailed the judge's ruling as a critical first win in our case to ensure the mega merger never sees the light of day, which is literally what I'm hoping too. So I'm on the side of Rob Bonta. I hope this merger never sees the light of day. Y'all already know from me talking about it on this show, I have been vehemently against this from the beginning. And my thing is, I get irritated when people say the one thing about not David Zaslav. Well, and David Zaslav was at my job the other day and one of the Swedes at a concert. But one of the things I don't like about the Ellisons is that people bring them up. Well, they love movies and they like producing films and they really have. And David Ellison has a passion for movies. That's great, but that's not what this is. Like you already have people at Paramount who are coming and suing than Ellis because they said that they've been doing some illegal activity in regards with Trump, which is what I've been saying from the beginning. Everybody wants to come in and start talking about data and numbers and shit. Let's talk about the politics because they've decided to interject politics into this situation. The reality is, y'all want to buy up all of this stuff because you want to have a hold on our media. You already see what Paramount has officially done. I'm putting that four-eyed see you next Tuesday. Barry Weiss up in there, and she's screwing up CBS. She's already destroyed what was valuable, as in 60 Minutes, and the propaganda she's trying to push over there. And you already know they're going to make her do that to CNN. What they've been doing over there at CBS, where they're trying to red pill liberal networks. Media should be fair and balanced. We're not getting a lot of that. It seems like we're getting more of the Republican propaganda that is spilling over into other aspects of the media, which is why I don't even pay attention to legacy media, mainstream media, because they're not giving you the real information. A lot of times it takes YouTube pundits who are really passionate about politics and everything to break all of this down. And that's where I be 9 times out of 10 getting my information from, and especially with some of the trades when they really break down what's going on with this too. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I don't want them to get a hold of this, is because Donald Trump has a conniption for anytime somebody says anything about him that he doesn't like. So with the Ellisons up in there, what they had so far of his funky ass, they're gonna come in and try to zhuzh up change up the narrative, so that way they can get what type of information they want out to the people. It's the same reason why they brought up TikTok, is because they didn't like the idea of TikTok getting information about what Israel has been doing to the Palestinian people. So people were all over TikToks, creating their videos, getting the news out there. Remember, it used to be all about dance videos. Now it's become a little more political, where people are really showing a genocide happening in real time. And people like the Ellisons and people like Netanyahu just did an interview where he talked about he didn't like that. The fact that um TikTok. Oh, and you hear Democrats saying it's crap too. Whereas it's like, oh, the information that people are getting their information from TikTok and they're spreading all this stuff. And I'm like, they're getting it from there because y'all aren't doing the job that y'all should be paid to do. Because you have corporations who are telling y'all the propaganda which is spread to the people. But meanwhile, you see literally you have people of the IDF playing target practice with children, shooting them in the nuts just for the hell of it, or shooting them in the head while they're having dinner. Like I've seen these videos. I've read the reports. So but then they're trying to mask all of this. And then, of course, we got the ICE situations where we have ICE agents literally going around unaliving people just for being an immigrant. There's been a lot of stories coming out about that, how ICE is still out here unaliving people. Y'all think it was just Alex Preddy and Renee Good? Those are the only two that's been unalived? No, there's been more bodies that have been piling up since then, which has been sparking a lot of outrage and protest. But of course, the mainstream media is not going to tell you this. So this is, I know I went on a whole side tangent, whatever, but this is one of the main reasons why I have an issue with these corporations wanting to buy up companies. If y'all just cared about wanting to make quality films, then I could totally understand that. And then I'm also wondering, like, would they even be willing, like if they said the only way that this deal goes through, you have to get rid of HBO Max, like sell it all to another company, maybe Netflix could buy that up, or CNN, you can't touch it. I don't know if they'd be willing to do that. I don't even think that they'll still even let the merger go through. I just don't think that the Ellison should have it. Like my thing is, focus on trying to make Paramount a more viable company and stop focus on, oh, we just gotta buy up everything. And then y'all don't even have the money. But I ain't done, because when y'all hear about how much money they're gonna have to spend if this deal don't go through, y'all gonna gag. So they said history tells a tale of what happens when a few people have great power over markets that are central to American lives. Fewer opportunities for more people, worse products and services for all people. This is what Bonta added. With our lawsuit, we're fighting for a free and fair market and a thriving film intelligent industry that serves creatives and audiences alike. We have a full tank of gas, the law on our side, and look forward to continuing and make our case. excuse me, our case. And what I love about this, like, yeah, we got a lot of energy, we got a lot of gas in the tank. We ready to take them on in the courts. And don't let y'all foot off their neck or your foot off the gas pedal because they're gonna try every little trick, they're gonna try every little stunt, they're gonna be on the phone trying to get Trump to do whatever little bending and twisting of the pretzel or whatever the case is to get what they want in this case. Y'all cannot allow this to happen. Y'all really need to go in and be like, you know, at the end of the day, the law is on our side. And it would be nice to see the law actually work in our favor because we've been seeing for far too often that people talk about the law, the law, the law, and then this regime is allowed to just break the law and they get away with murder and nothing is done about it. So it'd be nice to see if the law could actually work in our favor for once. That people can actually abide by it and just show, like, you know what? They didn't create, our forefathers didn't create all these laws and the Constitution and stuff just for shits and giggles. So now, in antitrust cases, the injunction is often the whole ball game. If it's not granted, the deal is allowed to close, and it becomes almost impossible to unwind later on. But if it is granted, the deal tends to fall apart before the underlying case can go to trial. So Paramount has pushed for a hearing on the injunction with live witnesses. The company hopes to get a ruling on the injunction by early September. If the deal is not closed by September 30th, Paramount will start to owe millions of dollars a day to Warner Brothers investors. And I have that number. We're going to get to that in a second. At the hearing on Friday, Martinez Ogwin telegraphed the outcome of the ruling, suggesting that Paramount had conceded it would not be harmed by a temporary pause. Jeffrey Kessler, arguing for Paramount, often offered to stipulate that the transaction would not close for up to 30 days pending hearing at the injunction motion. The state alleges the states allege that the merger will harm competition in the basic cable and theatrical markets. How so? Because y'all trying to buy up the cable and the theatrical markets by combining two of the top three. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Is the state saying this? I was sitting there thinking Paramount was saying it. Let me read that again. The states allege that the merger will harm competition in the basic cable and theatrical markets by combining two of the top three cable programmers and two of the top five film distributors. Paramount has pointed to the success of new entrants, A24, Amazon MGM, and others, to argue that the theatrical market is more competitive and dynamic than the state case makes it appear. Well, I don't think that's necessarily true because Amazon MGM, yeah, y'all out here competing, but are you winning? No, because a lot of the movies that came out under Amazon MGM have flopped. Most recently, and it might have been more, but most recently, Masters of the Universe, which is already, you can watch that, as we said earlier, on Amazon Prime on Wednesday, 2 days from now. Paramount also argues that the cable market is in decline and that the court should thus not rely on the state's estimates of market concentration. Well, that is true. I will say the cable market is on a decline. I don't watch cable. I don't have cable. I don't even know how to turn on a cable box. Excuse me. But what I do have is streaming. So I rely heavily on that. Now, Paramount has also argued that the merger is pro-competitive because it will create a stronger rival in the streaming marketplace to dominate players like Netflix and Amazon, which, remember, Netflix was trying to buy up Warner Brothers Discovery, which I actually was here for. I know people had issues with Netflix or whatever, but it would have been nice to see Netflix win out on that because compared to everybody else, Netflix doesn't have a studio. So them to actually have a studio in Warner Brothers, getting content and everything else out there, I think would have been really a good thing to have Netflix attached to it. Plus, I think they would have just had first dibs on a lot of Warner Brothers films going straight to Netflix. The only problem I do feel like that I take issue with Netflix is that there's too much quality over quantity. There's like way too much stuff on your streaming service, and I don't be knowing what to watch 9 times out of 10 because you're not really good at marketing your films or letting us know if something's good or not. It's just y'all just pump out a lot of content. And then a lot of times if I do decide to invest in a movie usually sucks. So they also said that the court notes separately that it cannot accept defendants' argument that the transaction will produce efficiencies in the streaming market. Now, courts have expressly and repeatedly rejected the defense of a challenged merger will result in economic efficiencies ancillary to competition in the relevant market. So As I was saying with all this look, all tea, all shade, I'm glad this is happening to the criminals running Paramount into the ground. Now, based on the situation, the case could expand over a year. What many people may not realize is that if the Paramount Warner merger does not go through by the end of October, they will have to pay a $650 million penalty every 3 months. So it could also go into the billions, where, and I don't think they have this money, especially if y'all borrowing this from Saudi Arabia. Now, one of the things I think people need to be aware of is the Clayton Antitrust Act of 1914. Shout out to IMDb for this information because I did look it up. The Clayton Antitrust Act of 1914 is a part of the United States antitrust law with the goal of adding further substance to the U.S. antitrust law regime. The Clayton Act seeks to prevent anti competitive practices in their incipiency. The regime began with the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890, the first federal law outlawing practices that were harmful to consumers, as in monopolies, cartels, and trusts. The Clayton Act specified prohibited conduct, the three-level enforcement scheme, the exemptions, and the remedial measures. Like the Sherman Act, much of the substance in the Clayton Act has been developed and animated by the U.S. courts, particularly the Supreme Court. Now, the Clayton Act made both substantive and procedural modifications to federal antitrust law. Substantively, the act seeks to capture anti competitive practices in their incipiency by prohibiting particular types of conduct not deemed in the best interest of competitive market. There are four sections of the bill that propose substantive changes to the antitrust laws by way of supplementing the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890. In those sections, the act thoroughly discusses the following four principles of economic trade and business: when you get price discrimination between different purchasers, if such discrimination substantially lessens competition, then you have sales on the condition that A, the buyer or lessee not deal with the competitors of the seller or lesser exclusive dealings, or B, the buyer also purchase another different product, but only when these acts are substantially less in competition. And then they said any person from being a director or two or more competing corporations, if those corporations would violate the antitrust criteria by merging. So there's a lot of that stuff. It sounds like what's going on up in here. I'm glad that this is all happening. I'm hoping that this doesn't go through and it causes a delay because, and maybe David Zaslav, who was selling off a lot of his stocks, maybe he's sort of writing on the wall with this, but because of their arrogance and greed, Paramount didn't, the Ellisons didn't really see it because, a lot of people get blinded by their egos and all the other stuff going on. They don't really see the forest for the trees. So this is probably a way of them like trying to bite them in the ass. What I'm really hoping with this whole situation is that it doesn't go through. They give it up and they cut their losses elsewhere. I'm hearing that NBC Universal was looking to get bought. Maybe you can go buy them and try to help Peacock. But then again, Taylor Sheridan just moved from Paramount to Peacock, so I don't know if he'd be like he just literally escaped dealing with them over there. So if they go over there and try to buy that up, it might be a mess. But I just don't want them buying that up because I don't need y'all screwing up HBO Max. Look, we got a good thing going over there with House of the Dragon and all them great shows. We got Harry Potter coming. We got so many great shows. We don't need you coming in with y'all propaganda and just fucking up the thing. So I'll definitely keep abreast of this story as it develops, but this is the latest that we have so far on this whole Paramount Warner Brothers merger. I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts in the whole situation, let me know in the comments down below. Yes, he is. Those are the types that like to wear them little masks while you blowing them and then let you record it. That's what ASAP gives. And he said, I saw some BS a while ago that Rihanna lost her voice and someone was shading her to say she sounded like she lost her voice a while ago. I mean, quiet as this cat, Rihanna was never that good of a singer, but we enjoy it for what she does. Did you or anyone listen to any of the new albums that came out on Friday? I tried listening to Steve Lacy's new album, but got bored. Um, I will say that I'm not really into Steve Lacy, so no, don't even think. I mean, Gracie Abrams, really? I would never. Um, so yeah, there was there was really no good music that came out this week. So to answer your question, no, I didn't listen to anything because nobody sparked my interest. And I will agree with you here. I did not care for Kalila's new album either. I got halfway through and then I was just like, I'm bored. And you know what I did? I put on Confessions too. I was like, child, I mean, it's cute or whatever. I like the fact that I love that video where she has like all the same sex people making out with each other and she has a Pink Pantheress in one of the songs. I do think that song is cute. But the album as a whole, I'm like, girl, I need you to get into Rochelle Jordan territory. Like this album is boring me to death. So I moved on. But Confessions 2 so far is it for me right now. That's all I've been really listening to and DJ mixes. So I've been like I'm still on that twice a day listening to Confessions too. So yeah, none of the albums. So I do agree with you. The Kalila album, I was bored. I'm still listening to Confessions too. I don't care about Steve Lacy or Taylor Swift Jr. The sequel. And the social media bans are so Israel can do manipulation through books and movies and TV because every social and YouTube is banned. Can't convince me Israel wants to control. Of course they do. I mean, we just had something that came out that Cory Booker literally was telling Israel if you want to get through the black voters, start young. So go and start spreading your propaganda to young people. So he literally is a step and fetch it coon where you tap dancing for that APAC money and you giving pointers on how to corrupt young black voters. Like really? So he's a piece of shit. He said Netflix, given its hundreds of original titles, is actually considered a studio. Very similar antitrust issues would have come up even if they won the bid. I'm sure they would have probably dealt with it too. But I wonder who is going to come in and buy up Warner Brothers if they don't. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that too. I did. Oh yeah, speaking. Thank you for reminding me. I did listen to Earth Eater's album. I only got halfway through it. I got bored. Um, Yeah, it wasn't on par with a lot of her last work. I wanted a little more electronic in the situation. I don't feel like that album was giving me it lacked bite, it lacked edge, it lacked spark, it lacked spunk. It was just I was just thinking about maybe maybe it softened her a little bit because she pregnant. I don't know, but or she was pregnant when she was recording it, or on that album cover. I don't know at what stage she had a bun in the oven, but I was kind of disappointed with that record too. So I guess we all as a class are just looking forward to Arca's new album because she gonna have to show the rest of these hoes how it's done. I fear what Arca is about to put out into the world going on long hiatuses is always a risk, less so for musicians that aren't mainstream household names, but I still fear a weak comeback album. Well, I hope it doesn't suck. Because the pressure's on right now for them to come out with a new record. Hold on a second, because since you reminded me, let me put that in my queue. I was like, who calling me? Yeah, let me add to the thing. 'Cause I'm like, if I could, there's no, pre-order or, the, I can't add the album because it ain't been announced or whatever yet. Yeah, y'all talking about it now, but it's not in the thing where I can add it to as a reminder. I guess Madonna gave us elder gays what we wanted. I'm now realizing my favorite acts are in their 50s and 60s and 70s because I'm not realizing none of today's music. Hello. I've been saying that. I was like, a lot of these new generation artists, y'all are dry as fuck. Y'all really don't be out here giving the girls what they want. A lot of the people that have been doing it for a long time. Look, Paul McCartney is even getting praise for his latest record. B11 is coming out next year, aka Bjork's new album. Looking forward to that. Laziness rumors with your performance being lackluster as well. Yeah, that's another thing too. A lot of these artists don't really put effort in it, and I want to hear jack crap about there's no A&Rs and there's no this and there's no that. You can find people that can help steer your career. A good creative director that can help steer you in the right direction. I can't wait to see what Olivia does on this Unravel tour. There are so many aesthetics, sets, and directions it can go stage wise. I'm still upset she's not doing the Garden because she did the Guts tour at the Garden. She got to do Barclays. I'm like, look, if they can find a way to squeeze the Jonas Brothers into the situation at the last minute, Olivia, you could have came to the Garden so I could work that show. And, these days they put me on the floor for everything. So I would have got a close seat. I would have got a close view. One of the things I'm hoping is that when Madonna decides to tour this new album, I'll be on the floor too. But anyway, let's get back into the show, y'all. And let's talk about this mess. So let's talk about Belle Khalees. So Belle Khalees apparently got herself a new man, Savannah. And it is none other than Maduka Okoye, who we were seeing her trotting around and about with this soccer player. We first saw it at, I think it was the Louis Vuitton fashion, the fashion show where they were sitting front row. And the word on the street is these two have been, frotting about and all this good stuff. But I was like, oh, Cardi finally got herself a good man. And according to his baby mama, because now the baby mother came out and said that he's a deadbeat or basically an absent father. So Super Eagles goalkeeper Maduka Okoye has come under public scrutiny after his former partner Jellica Westhoof accused him of DV and neglecting their child. Allegations are made amid growing rumors linking the footballer to American rapper Cardi B. So Maduka, so what it said, here's what she said, because I got the whole post. It was like in the Instagram story that she posted. She said, "Imagine I shut my effing mouth, lied about what you did to me, so I could so you can continue your career, and all you do is effing embarrass us. You make me look like I'm a bitter baby mother when I helped you when no one was there for you. Isn't that how it usually is with these athletes? Y'all be having these girls that hold y'all down, and then when you get successful, then you forget who they were and who you are, just to get to the other side. But anyway, let's finish what she wrote. She said, "No one was there for you. I made you. No one knew who you was, and instead of loving us, you betrayed me, cheated on me with child." Cardi got her a Stephon Diggs #2 because she said he cheated on her with men and women. You're an F demon who tried to, I think she meant effing demon who tried to destroy my life. You don't take care of your one and only son because I don't want to be with you. I will never forgive you. Being nice and peaceful brings you nowhere. You're a rat, and I wish I was just like you. But I tried for my son to be a good co parent to erase your wrongdoings because you made me believe that I was the problem. She also put on another post that said, "You don't call your son, you don't see your son because you're too busy." Jesus Christ, y'all! I need y'all to figure out the YOU apostrophe RE, and I need y'all to figure out the your and yours, like the there and there. Anyway, so she put because while you are too busy when it should be while you apostrophe RE. I'm getting grammar teaching. You're too busy punishing his mother and being a baddie on social, not a baddie child, on social media. Your son that you wanted so badly when you were still broke and I had to give you money. She went in jail. So in an exclusive statement to page 6, she said that she has nothing against Cardi. She said it's about you going out with any woman in public knowing you don't take care of your child. Now, I should say Page Six has reached out to both Okoye and Cardi's reps for comment, but did not immediately hear back. Now, Westlove's comments came after the WAP rapper and the goalkeeper was spotted dining in Italy. Per video obtained by TMZ, Okoye and Cardi, real name Belcalis Almanzar, grabbed a bite at Gio's restaurant in the at the St. Regis with a group of other men. The Grammy winner who rocked a plunging turquoise dress, and the athlete was seated next to each other and appeared to be having a great conversation. There was reportedly no PDA. Now, earlier this month, Cardi and Okoye set the internet on fire when they were seen side by side at the. Oh, okay, so I said YSL, but it was Jean Paul Gaultier haute couture show at Paris Fashion Week. Now, social media users gushed when the video surfaced of Okoye grabbing Cardi's hand to help her to her seat. The two were later seen having flirty conversations on a Parisian restaurant's terrace. The Bodak Yellow MC reportedly split. Well, we already know she recently split from Stephon Diggs, and Cardi and the NFL free agent, who's 32, have been dating on and off since 2024, and they welcomed their son last November. Diggs has five other kids, and I believe they was all around. No, he was them babies was coming out around the same time Cardi just had a recent child. Now, the Hustle's actress shares three other children with her estranged husband, Offset. Yeah, so she's not even divorced from Offset yet, and now she's out here allegedly hunching this man. And my thing is this: if you want to just get in a good drive by, let them dig out your guts. Wear a condom because we already know how fertile Cardi is. Anytime she even a man breathe in her direction, she pregnant. So, but in this situation, it's a little bizarre because well damn, I thought I would have had I guess I forgot to put the picture of what the baby mama looked like because I wanted y'all to have an idea of what. Oh wait, I do have a picture. Hold on. So this is the picture here. This is him, Maduka, and this is the his baby's mother in their African regalia. And yeah, she out here spilling tea. And now my thing is, look, y'all should not be surprised that any of these alleys be out here hunching the men and the women. There's a lot of bisexual men running around in sports. And it is what it is. And if he's one of those people that maybe is jumping on the whole Cardi bandwagon because she brings him a sense of clout and gets him on the radar because Cardi is one of the biggest female rappers on the planet right now, then I totally get what his game is. But Cardi, you need to understand what you're getting yourself into. Another thing I will say, I hope she don't get involved in this whole situation and be like, well, whatever's going on with you and your baby father has nothing to do with me. We just hanging out or whatever the case is. Don't get involved with that because, sis, remember, if you're gonna pull that, you decide to be like, oh, I'm not asserting myself in anything that got to do with y'all, and whatever y'all issues is, you work it out. You would decide to assert yourself not that long ago in a situation that had nothing to do with you either. When what's his name? Chris came out and made them accusations against Stephon Diggs, and you was about, well, his story done changed so many times. And I was like, ma'am, you weren't even there when all of this stuff was going on. So do not assert yourself in a conversation that has nothing to do with you. Let them work this thing out. If she feels that this is the only way she can get across to this man that he being a bum and he's not spending quality time with his kid, you wanted the baby, and now that the baby's here, you don't want to take on your responsibilities as a dad, then yeah, call him out. I don't care how good your ass looks. It's some pretty boys. I keep telling you, I need to watch out for them because they be in a world of trouble. I mean, they are trouble. So, I'll definitely keep abreast of this story as it develops. But I'm like, child, she out here spilling tea. But then, speaking of tea, I definitely want to hear from y'all in regards to this whole situation. What do you think of this following tea that I just spilled? In regards to the whole situation, I mean, do you think that yeah, Cardi, don't get serious with this dude? Just if you want him to just clap them cheeks, do that. But yeah, put an IUD up in your coochie if he don't wear no condom. Because what he'll try to do is, if he not out here really making that good football coin, and I don't know what his net worth is. We do know that Cardi makes a lot of money from what she's been doing, all her little side gigs and endorsement deals and things. But even when these men have a whole lot of money, whatever, they like the attention. And you being one of the hottest rappers right now, regardless of how y'all feel about her music, Cardi is very much sought after in the mainstream world, especially when it comes to fashion and all the other entertainment conglomerates. Having that close, being in that proximity of her is definitely good for his cachet. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Without Lorianne Gibson, we're starting to realize Lady Gaga sucks as a stand performer. But I will say this: her working with oh my god, what was the girl's name that she worked with on this the one that did the abracadabra choreography? I will say this: well, her performances that she's been doing, excuse me, um, this last tour was good. It was a fully realized tour. What do you do when you're forced to work a crappy concert? I don't think I could deal with hearing crap. That's a good question because I had that experience happen to me when it came to what's the boy name? Alex Warren. When I did that show, oh my god, I wanted to I wanted to go up to the bridge and just jump because I was so bored with that show. I'm like, oh my god, these songs are boring. But some of the guests was getting on my nerves too. But yeah, when I'm working a boring show, I find ways to entertain myself. I'll walk around, I'll move around, and even if the good thing is if I'm on the floor, there's so many of us that's working down there. I could just go hang out with the other people that I'm working with. We just have full on, we'll sit and we'll have conversations. We'll make jokes and those other stuff. We'll also be paying attention what's going. What I do, I'll still be paying attention what's going on in the arena. But at the same time, I will find ways to entertain myself. But yeah, when you're in a vom, oh my god, it's so much harder because like you're standing there, and if you're working with one of the security guards that got no damn personality, it's like you're even more screwed. So I do find ways. One time I did go to the bathroom for a long time, and I ran into some of my other coworkers, and we just started cracking jokes and acting stupid. So we find ways to entertain ourselves. But yeah, there have been times where I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait for the show is over. Some of my coworkers, they be on their phone the whole time. Me, I can't. I don't know. I can't do that. Wait, did I read all the comments? I don't think I did. Not to be pretty, and petty, but is Cardi getting her karmic lashings for being biphobic to Luke? Yeah, because this be the second man she got with that allegedly is bisexual, right? First Stephon Diggs out here hunching dudes, and now you got this one. Do you think she will ever go? I hope not. I mean, stranger things have happened. I don't know. Birds, they do all kinds of bird shit. So I would not be surprised if she were to go back to Offset. But I'm like, you clearly are a masochist if you go back to him. Watch how no one wants to hunch Nikki now. She's not even her own husband. I forgot, isn't she in a lawsuit? I keep forgetting to talk about that. Maybe I just don't care enough. Matthew Redman shared a shady photo of Justin Bieber. It quotes, I feel so free," and him on stage holding the acoustic guitar on World Cup with a caption saying, "Hold my beer." Well, Justin Bieber is a chop. But anyway, let's get into some who's not a chop. Melanie C, because she done got herself married over the weekend. She's married now. So Melanie C, who was in a relationship with her fiance, who is a model. Apparently, I believe they met on Raya. Isn't that like the dating site for rich folk? So yeah, all the Spice Girls was there except Victoria Beckham. Surprise, surprise. So Melanie C. Chisholm, still affectionately known as Spotty Spice to fans, wed her partner of 3 years, Australian model Chris Dingwall, in a tasteful ceremony at the Country House in Cumbria, England on Saturday. Melanie Melby Brown, Emma Bunton, and Jerry Horner, formerly known as Jerry Hollowell, were all in attendance at the lakeside nuptials as captured by photographer Andrew Timms. Though the absence of Victoria Beckham, the fifth and final Spice Girl, was notable, it wasn't for lack of love between Sporty and Posh. This weekend saw the climactic finale of the 2026 World Cup, though the final game in which Spain triumphed over Argentina took place on Sunday. The Beckham family had a major reason to support England in its third place face-off against France on Saturday. Now, David Beckham, Victoria's husband for over 25 years, led the English team to World Cup tournaments in 1998, 2002, and 2006. Though he never won while on the team, England did win against France on Saturday, taking third place in the 2026 World Cup. Victoria may not have been physically present to support her fellow wannabe singer, but her presence was felt. The noted fashionista turned fashion designer was the creative mind behind Chisholm's stunning wedding dress. So, when they do something borrowed, something blue, she borrowed a dress from Victoria Beckham. Like, I can't be there, but I'll design the dress for you to look good. So he said, I was actually having dinner with Melanie and asked her what she was up to, Beckham told British Vogue on Sunday. She very casually told me she was leaving for Australia in 2 days and getting married. When I asked what she was wearing, she mentioned she had actually ordered one of my dresses, but that it didn't quite fit, and she didn't have time to get it altered before leaving. I happened to have just that exact dress in my own wardrobe and offered to lend it to her. Or you could have just called the Victorian asked her to get the dress. But I guess maybe your friendship is not like that where you want to be like, girl, let me call you up and can I get a dress? Like sometimes I guess you don't want to be a burden to people like that. So you want to show I got money, I can get my own dress. So Chisholm met Dingwall, a model and producer on the dating app Raya in 2023. She said, I was 49 when I met Chris, and I was in a really good place. We had a date in Australia, and it's been difficult to separate us ever since, is what she told British Vogue. He's been such a beautiful addition to mine and my daughter's life because, I'm a single mom. My daughter is 17, and we're pretty resilient, the two of us. We're a team. For anybody coming into our world, it was going to be tough, and he just fits perfectly. Now, before meeting Dingwall, Chisholm was romantically involved with property developer Thomas Starr. They were together for 10 years, during which Chisholm gave birth to their daughter, Scarlett Starr. She then was in a relationship with her manager, Joe Marshall, from 2015 to 2022. Not you hunting your manager, child. That's always a big no-no. Don't be out here hunching the people that do the work for you, because it becomes a slippery slope. So there you have it. Congratulations to you, Mel C, on your relationship and you jumping the broom and getting married and all that good stuff. Well deserved. I know a lot of people had pegged Mel C for a lesbian. No, the only one that be out here eating the box, allegedly, is Mel B has admitted to it, and she allegedly said that she munched Ginger's carpet. I wonder how that situation went down because them two kind of been a little with their relationship, with their interaction with each other. So I wonder how things went. Hopefully they were ladylike and very cordial at the during the reception and the wedding. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Vicky B not attending Mel C's wedding to Chris Dingwall and all that other stuff? So, and her getting married and everything. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments down below. Well, that's true, especially when she out here, Brooklyn out here being a hot ass, ungrateful mess. So yeah, I mean, she got her own issues that she dealing with. But all right, y'all. So let's get into our final topic. And let's talk about Valentina. So Valentina looks like she got her new gig. I didn't know she could sing. Cause didn't she already do Rocky Horror? The one with or am I bugging? I could have sworn she's done Rocky Horror, the one where y'all had Laverne Cox as not Rocky. Rocky was the blonde, as Dr. Frankenfurter. And so yeah, so Valentina, I believe she's already started because I saw some people say surprise. She's in the Rocky Horror on Broadway. She is replacing Michaela J. Rodriguez because I was like, is she replacing Michaela J? Come to find out she is. So Valentina is officially a part of the thing. I think she's playing Columbia, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get into said story. So as I was scrolling up, because I was way down. Okay, so now, as they say, don't dream it, be it. RuPaul's Drag Race Valentina. Oh, it was Rant Live that she was in. Will make her Broadway debut as Columbia in the current Broadway revival of the Rocky Horror Show, which I believe they just extended the date. It's sad that we don't have Cats the Jellicle Ball, but at least we still have Rocky Horror. So they said that Valentina will make her Broadway debut as the regular Frankie fan, taking over the role from understudies Caleb Quazon and Larkin Riley, who have shared the role following the departure of Golden Globe winner Michaela J. Rodriguez earlier this summer. Valentina will begin performances in the role July 21st. This revival is directed by Tony winner Sam Pinkleton, who did Oh Mary. The production is led by Luke Evans, who did Beauty and the Beast, who stars as Frankenfurter. Rachel Dratch as the narrator, Andrew Durand as Brad, Amber Gray as Riff Raff, Harvey Guillen, who was on What We Do in the Shadows as Eddie slash Dr. Scott, Stephanie Shu, who was in Everything Everywhere All at Once, is playing Janet. Excuse me, and Josh Rivera, American Sports Story, West Side Story, is playing Rocky. The cast also features Renee Albulario, Anania, Boy Radio, Quizon, Andre Quintero, Riley, Paul Solio, and John Yee. The Rocky Horror Show features choreography by Annie Taj, who did Dead Outlaw, music production and orchestrations by Chris Kukul, set design by, okay, there's a bunch of people that y'all like, who? But nevertheless, it looks like Valentina got herself a gig. And so, congratulations to her. I like the fact that we're starting to see more drag race girls on Broadway, and I've been saying for the longest that we need drag. We need to see more, not only RuPaul's Drag Race or just drag in general and drag performances on the Broadway stage. But it seems like because Broadway is struggling right now. Tickets are too expensive. Maybe we need to diversify the portfolio what Broadway is now. Rocky Horror Show premiered in London at the Royal Court Theatre upstairs, June 19, 1973. It moved to several other locations, ultimately running for a cumulative 2,960 performances before it closed in 1980. The musical follows straight-laced couple Brad and Janet. I believe because the guy who played Riff Raff in the original Rocky Horror, he wrote the play and didn't realize like it blew up. I mean, then they put the movie out and it bombed. And then there was a producer that decided, you know what, we're going to show it during midnight screenings, and it became a spectacle. And so now they do it the whole midnight screenings. I even have a friend, Michael T, who does a rendition of Rocky Horror every Halloween. I went last Halloween. He plays Frankenfurter, and it was a great performance. I saw it I think it was in the East Village when it went down. So the musical follows, as I said, a straight-laced couple, Brad and Janet, who stumble upon a spooky house on a raining night and become attracted to the strange denizens who live within, particularly Frankenfurter, a gender non-conforming mad scientist. The show's rock-influenced score includes crowd-pleasing songs Sweet Transvestite, The Time Warp, Damn It, Janet, and Touch It, Touch It, Touch It, Touch Me, I Wanna Feel Dirty. And so now, after London, Rocky Horror played in LA in 1974, where it ran for 9 months. Its 1975 Broadway debut was not as successful, receiving mixed reviews and running for only 3 previews and 45 showings. But it was the film adaptation of Rocky Horror called The Rocky Horror Picture Show that truly propelled the musical into legendary status, starring creator O'Brien as Riff Raff and Tim Curry as Frankenfurter. And he also was at the Tim Curry was also in the stage performance, in case y'all didn't know that, as well as Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick, which I did hear they said the only way we're gonna give y'all a budget for this movie is that you have to make Brad and Janet American. Hence why they brought in Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick. So the movie has been playing in movie theaters since 1975, with fans attracted to its message of sexual and gender acceptance. The property's cultural impact was recently explored in the new documentary Strange Journey, the story of Rocky Horror, created by Richard O'Brien's son, Linus. I didn't know he had a kid. Oh, they had a kid. Because I do believe that I saw an interview with Richard O'Brien, who said that they identify as non-binary. The Rocky Horror Show had a Broadway revival in 2000 and a West End revival in 2023. It's also a favorite of regional theaters. The production estimates that the stage version has been seen by over 40 million people in some 15 languages. So the current production was nominated for 9 2026 Tony Awards, including Best Revival of a Musical. And I do believe that they did also extend the date. So it'll be interesting to see how this all turns out. So congratulations, Valentina. I'm glad that you're getting yourself a cute little gig. Don't be quitting in the middle of it. Like stick it out and do what needs to be done. And don't have stepping in the words in the Broadway world. So yeah. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Valentina? making her Broadway debut as Columbia in Rocky Horror on Broadway. Are you going to go check it out now that she's a part of it? Is being a Drag Race girl interest enough for you to want to go out and support the show even more? So, whatever your thoughts are on this situation, let me know in the comments down below. Valentina's peak was before I started watching Drag Race. What was Oh, really? You weren't are you saying that you wasn't into it? Well, Valentine what was the mania like? It wasn't a bit crazy online. I wasn't that invested when it was going down, but I do remember because Aja and her was going at it. Valentina was kind of like trying to be all demure, mindful. I do feel like a lot of her fan base were being very nasty, and it was a lot of trolling online. A lot of the girls were pretty much not liking the fact that Valentina's fans were bullying her and how she wouldn't speak out on it. So the fandom was crazy. Wasn't it also the same season as the Vixen? Valentine. I mean, that season it was. So it was a lot going on, and I really wasn't because I always my thing is I'm always trying my best to avoid all the online discourse and the drama and the fighting and all that stuff. I usually would hear about it if I just happen to be on Twitter and I see them going back and forth or people bringing it up, or I have friends who are like hardcore Drag Race fans and they'll be posting things. And so that's why I was paying attention. But yeah, when Valentina was out in the beginning of her career and when she became popular, it was a little crazy out here. I'm glad it's calmed down since then. But yeah, Valentina Mania was a mess. A time we should not go back to. Excuse me. I've always had a negative perception of Valentina because of the season 9 reunion. I love to support Mexican Americans, but she just came over as it was definitely given that she was kind of coming across as Valentina, your smile is beautiful, as you know, as Aja would say. But a lot of the way you were behaving on the show was very much like you smiling through the bullshit, but you really doing some real conniving stuff behind the scene. Child. Exactly. Pay it. Because ain't nobody checking Corey for Corey King like that. This is like nobody's checking for Plain Jane either. That girl can't even sustain a reality show sustain her spot on a reality show long enough. Like you didn't even last 2 episodes on Project Runway. You didn't even last long on House of Villains. You lasted longer. The longest you lasted was Drag Race, and that's because they live for the drama. And as long as you play the game with the producers, they're gonna keep you on. The problem was Project Runway. I just felt like y'all were just using the Drag Race girls to get people interested. I haven't even watched the new episode yet, but I already know what went down. But anyway, speaking of getting down, I'm about to get my ASS off this channel, and we are because we at the end of the road. We at the end of the show and all that good stuff. So yeah, one more again, if you can, if you have not already, hit that like button, subscribe, smash the notification bell, hit that hype button, all that good stuff. Help the show get out there. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the loyal people that come in and continuously support this show. I'll be back tomorrow, Lord willing, if I'm not feeling like death, with a brand new episode of the show. And if they got some good damn topics for us worth talking about. So, it's a lot of factors that go in putting together a show. So, I think Drag Race era is over. It's now gay famous again. It's no longer. You think so? That is no longer mainstream. I mean, they still have a big enough audience. Speaking of which, I just realized I gotta watch Roscoe's because it's just the regular girls. It's just Batty and Caramel and Naisha. They're the only three that's on there tonight. On Friday's episode that's airing now. But I'm like, child, you had your top two on the show last week. So, and then I had a lot of people in my comments basically saying it wasn't a bit like somebody got mad at me because they were like, you couldn't at least gave us a spoiler alert before you revealed that crystal method one. I'm like, what spoiler? First of all, I think everybody pretty much knew that was the direction the show was going to go into. They did so much and not diminishing what Crystal did as far as like what she brought to the show of the season, but you can clearly see that production was trying their damnness to skip her and protect her from being eliminated. Because we've seen time and time again that production will leave people to the leave chance up to the regular content, the people on the show, and hoping they would get people to the end. And you already see, like, when they would get eliminated, Ruby up there, like gagging over the fact that somebody who they had, who was a favorite, got eliminated. So now they're stepping in to make sure that the ones they want to see make it to the end are protected. And the fans are seeing through it. And I think it kills it for the people that genuinely want to be there and make something and want to win. So it's sad when it's like, yeah, y'all go in on Ginger Minge. People go, and although some people say that Ginger Minge, a lot of what was going on with her was warranted, and then now Crystal Method's getting a lot of hate, and I saw online. It's like she is talented. She definitely was doing her big one, but the interference from production, I feel like, is the real issue. And so that's what that was. Because remember, when Shangela got eliminated, they wanted her to make it to the end, and then when they chopped her and then make her get to the finale, they was bad over that. So now they're not even leaving it up to the people that's on the show anymore. Now production wants to control the narrative, and y'all be all upset. And I guess you being online, being pissed off, and debating on Twitter or whatever, that's way more entertaining than actually who won at the end of the day. So as the RuPaul song goes, losing is the new winning. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here. Love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support, and until next time, ciao, darlings.